Dire team ban. PSG.LGD's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Two teams with a clean slate. We got PSG.LGD and Beastcoast bellying up against each other. Yeah, they're 0-0. Clean slate. They're done. They haven't done anything yet. You know what? I was gonna segue my intro into some funky picks because PSG.LGD is one of the few teams that I've played Pudge, Sniper. Of course, it was the end of the previous patch, but if anything, Pudge got a buff. So if we wanted to see funky stuff, I think PSG.LGD is going to be the one to put it on the table first. Beastcoast, they start off by banning out the Keeper of the Light. PSG.LGD actually respecting that Chris Slark that you just mentioned.
I like it. It was nerfed, well, rather buffed
Dire
this previous
team
patch,
ban.
and it just kind of annoys the way PSG like to play. No stun locks allowed.
He looks tired.
Jet lag. Did they actually land today?
Yeah, I think so.
That's pretty crazy.
PSG.LGD's
vertical
turn.
phone.
Dire
I was
team
gonna
pick.
say it's one of the few
Faceless
players that is
void.
actually like they're all having their phone as the cameras. They are in the PGL boot camp. They have the PGL chairs.
Guys, I have a lot to say already.
Okay, go for
Ready.
it.
This Faceless Void,
Is being played as
a position 5. But listen, you look at a Void,
10
you're like, this is their
seconds
core
remaining.
hero. That's what comes to mind. But in China, right?
5
RNG
seconds
innovated
remaining.
the position 5 Red Panda Void, and they were pairing it with Gyros and Medusas and Lunas and Furions and Arc Wardens, and they did not lose a single game until the very end.
well,
So they went like 5-1 with it, and then
Dire
LGD played it
team
once. Right, they lost to it. They got 2-0'd by it in I-League. They saw it doing very well at the last tournament, so they just pick it randomly. I'm like, okay, there's no way they can play it as well as RNG. Nope, they play it even better.
I dig it. It comes up in a lot of the higher level
10 seconds
European pubs
remaining.
that I've been playing. I'm a big fan. Just time dilation.
5
Dispel
seconds
is
remaining.
it lasts way too long. It does damage. It's a huge slow, and it prevents me from casting my spells. Plus, Chronosphere is obviously still quite a solid tool to utilize for team fights. Beastcoast,
Yes.
I dig the Earth Spirit. I mean, this is just feels like an FE special, so I'll let you take the
I'm
mic.
very happy to see both of these heroes because this Void could obviously also be a core. Right, you don't know, but the 5 Void has been incredibly successful in China, and he's more than just a chronosphere or even a time dilation. He's a support that can go in first, tank spells, and then leap out. Right, he can play as the stun setup. He can play as the annoying vision hero.
Dire
He can play as
team back.
the guy who tanks the gank. Right, so there's actually a lot of merit to this Void in terms of what kind of utility he can provide, and his laning is quite strong if you pair him with a ranged hero.
Yeah, I agree. And the Silencer theoretically could be core, but one of my favorite heroes against Earth Spirit because you want to spam your spells. You want to
PSG.LGD's
consistently
turn
roll
to
in, use the
ban.
stones. You tank a Curse, which also got the damage increased when you're under the effects of Silence. It is impossible to play these supports. You want to channel your ultimate? Well, Witch Doctor that immediately gets canceled out. Effectively turns a fight into a 5-on-3 once you pop the global. They also have, of course, the huge control
10 seconds
of the
remaining.
Void. So already a nice setup, I would say, from PSG.LGD.
Dire
Earth
team
Spirit,
back.
right, even if he's a support or a core in this draft, excels at killing Faceless Void because he has his silence and he has the roles that he can just keep going later and later, and he can build in a way that makes this hero easy to die. So he's one of the better heroes at killing it. And also, once he gets to the point where he has a
10
BKB,
seconds
silencer
remaining.
is just food. Right? You have this like BKB at Earth Spirit rolling into you. What do? You
5
don't really do
seconds
that much.
remaining.
So it's actually a pretty nice pick
Yeah,
this game.
I'd argue it's better suited as a core, just so you get the earlier BKB timing, though, for that reason.
I'm biased towards core Earth Spirit, so I would like to say yes, but as a 4, he has a lot of merits, right? You can still have a core hero that wants to farm, and you can have this hero setting up for kills. It just really depends on what kind of carry they're going to play. If they go for this like hyper carry for protect 1 kind of thing, I would like to see Earth Spirit mid.
PSG.LGD
Dire
team to
the
ban.
BKB carry. It is your ideal scenario here. It's much like when you play against a Treant, against Silencer, you need a BKB to protect yourself, but then you also would love an ability to cleanse the silence from yourself. Bloodseeker is a very
Dire
good
team
ban here. I already had a ton of setup on PSG.LGD. That hero's seen a lot of play in America and in China, and it's definitely something that, you know, historically regions have comfort picks, and Bloodseeker is definitely one for China. I go all the way back to TI7, where Newbie actually ran a Earth Spirit
10
Bloodseeker
seconds remaining.
all the way to the TI finals. That was they just picked, I think, 5 times in like 7
seconds
games.
remaining.
So Beastcoast with the Sand King that I'd hope to see Thunder Predator pick up for Frank, but this will likely be Whisper's hero unless they want the Earth Spirit core, but more likely this is just their 3-4-5. Now, LGD, reveal your heroes, please, and then we'll take our course.
Already, I really like the Sand King pick combined with Earth Spirit and Witch Doctor, because these are low cooldown heroes that are ready to fight. When Sand King gets his blink or his veil or whatever he decides to do this game, they're going to be just ready to go from lane to lane. But also, Sand King provides wave clear, which Earth Spirit and Witch Doctor don't have, and it's very important to have wave clearing heroes on your team, because you can't make plays as an Earth Spirit if your lanes are not pushed out.
Aren't you a
Dire
little
team
concerned, though?
pick.
You're talking about low cooldown, cheap spells. You're playing into time dilation and curse.
Exactly, yes.
It is really difficult, and already PSG.LGD, they just go bat Night Stalker, even more annoyance. I don't want to be a spellcaster. Exactly. It's miserable right now playing up against all this. So they go for the Naga. Perfect. You needed an illusion core, natural manta buyer.
May I
Makes a lot
also
of sense.
say something that they've been doing that may look a little bit bizarre? So, my dear casters, if you see this, do not
10
be
seconds remaining.
alarmed. Every offlaner in China has been buying Meteor Hammer.
5
So,
seconds
Really?
remaining.
yes, I won't be surprised if it's a Meteor Hammer and Night Stalker, and they just buy it so they can push lanes out. But they've been doing it on Mars. They did it on DK. They did it on
Dire
Night Stalker.
team
Yes,
back.
JT especially loves buying Meteor Hammer and Night Stalker, and it looks really funny when he catches heroes with it. So I think they might do something like this here too.
That'd be really cool, actually. I'm gonna start doing that. That sounds fun. It's great build-up.
It's the build-up and the wave clear, right? And some magical utility.
Just like I taught you, the
PSG.LGD's
wave clear.
turn
That's
to
right.
The
ban.
wave.
Very important, because if you clear the waves, you get gold, experience, and those creeps then run to the enemy side of the map, providing vision,
Which is
denying
what you
themselves
want.
enemy towers.
Dire
Which is
team
what
back.
you want for sure. But in terms of wave clear, like this Naga Sand King lineup is going to do it better so far. It's Bat Rider only right now until Night Stalker gets his Meteor Hammer, I would say. But Silencer, I still don't know what he is.
10
It could be
seconds
anything.
remaining.
If it's PSG.LGD, don't count anything out.
5
But I will tell
seconds
you,
remaining.
I'm almost 99% sure it's a 5 Void.
Yep, I would agree. I mean, core void into this is just real rough.
Oh, Naga Siren, right? We didn't even talk about her. So
PSG.LGD
Naga, I feel like her
turn
biggest
to
strength is actually her ability to disengage and pick and choose her battles with Song of the Siren. So maybe they're trying to do this thing where they bait Chrono and then they song, and then they just fight after that, right? So that could be a really big idea behind this Naga. And if they can pull it off like that,
It could be I
10
love the Juro, though. It's a
seconds
natural
remaining.
BKB buyer, and as you stated already,
That's their
great
safe
lane
lane.
with the void.
5 seconds
Question
remaining.
is, what's the core? It could be, what, Silencer 4 position offlane with the Night Stalker. It could be Silencer mid, which I doubt, but we shall see.
so I am inclined to believe it's a Bat mid. And I think that makes the most sense, and just a 4 Silencer. But depending on their last hero, there's flexibility here.
Yeah,
So
and it
we're
would make
gonna
sense.
see a response.
With the bans, Lena, Viper, 2 heroes you don't really want to play bad
And the
against. They-
Slark already at the
Already,
start.
yep. Totally agree. But what do you want for Chris Luck here? I think at this point, you need something that can... It has to be able to play a game, for lack of a better phrase. Because right now, you're up against all these stuns, control, silences. It's just a pain in the ass. So some sort of self-cleanse would be great.
I think they need some damage as well, because until Naga's ready to fight, our Spirit is a hero that needs to be enabled by high damage on his team,
You may
because he
now
doesn't have
select
any. He
your
has all the
heroes.
control in the world, just not enough damage. And there it is, that's a bursty hero. And that lanes very well against Fat Rider.
It does indeed.
We saw it yesterday being picked up against Bat, but the lanes were so wonky and people kept dodging. We didn't actually get to see it at play. But we have to talk about the buffs Queen of Pain got recently. She can heal off of her dagger, which is something that's very good on lane, and she can obviously blink out when Bat goes on her.
Look at the cosmetic game we're looking at. It appears Zhao 8 is the only one not glowing from some sort of immortal active.
But
so.
he's flying on top of them all. He's just levitating.
On the robot
levitating
as
above
well.
his team.
This is a pretty, I mean, I have not seen a cosmetic game this good in some time. I like the Quap. If there was a game for it, this is it. Feel like the hero almost has to be last picked. It's a BKB buyer. Might even go for some sort of Yules in this game. They needed the burst, as you said. But I am a bit worried for Beastcoast. I feel like they need to just slaughter LGD around the map to take a W. Their team fights will almost always not go their way.
Something South American Dota in specific always excels at is stomping lanes, right? So if they can stomp their lanes, this game will look different. But I don't think they're ready for this 5 Void. I don't think they've experienced it yet, and they're about to.
All right. Well, are we? You're still favoring Beastcoast.
63% LGD.
LG. Oh, okay. They're both favoring PSG.LGD. I mean, they've got an amazing track record, even with Zhao standing in front of it to say. Let's see, though. It's the first game for both of these teams. So, clean slate, let's see who takes the lead. It's over to our commentary team of T-Gov and Moxie.
Well, as far as global Dota is concerned, I would say you can't get much further apart than this, right? Chinese Dota
Prepare
versus
for
South
battle.
American Dota. You've got some big discrepancies, and we've got some really interesting picks coming out from especially PSG.LGD.
I'm excited to see this from PSG, just because I think like Beastcoast with their draft, they kind of open up with this double support duo, and it is a natural consequence of like the drafting pattern, right, that we saw in their patch. Like their take on it is, if we show our supports first, we get to maybe, you know, get the gotcha picks for the cores later on, and PSG kind of read into that, and rather than trying to counter these potential cores later down the line, they're just picking these heroes that will slaughter the support's impact in the game. Like you have this Silencer, Earth Spirit, Witch Doctor will not have a fun time in here. You got this like Pos 5 Void, who's gonna be able to run in and out, and then, you know, Night Stalker, the king of bullying these like squishier supports. So PSG for sure have demonstrated how to draft into this kind of second pick order, and
30
yeah, it'll be exciting
seconds
to
to
see how
battle.
Beastcoast can utilize this last pick Quap to really open up the game and maybe try and play into this very like dominant looking draft from PSG.
And again, you're getting a lot of these very comfort heroes coming out from the side of Beast Coast. You know, you've got the Chris Luck, Queen of Pain. You've got Schofield on his Earth Spirit. So, you know, these are people who know their heroes quite well. But again, like, how do you play against some of this? How do you, as Mira said, you know, they probably have not encountered
The battle
this 5 Void.
begins.
I'm sure they've done their homework, but we're already though still looking pretty good. Ame's taking a lot of harass. They have that stand right there, and it looks like a couple more clicks. Are they going to be able to get this? It's pretty fast though. Looks like he's trying to do some body blocks.
He has
But
boots on Earth
Schofield
Spirit.
is just chasing him down over here. It's going to take a bit.
He's got kick in 3. Yeah, this should be a
This is
dead
looking-
jar.
I know, maybe he's got the moves though. Maybe he's going to be able to go and get that dance up. No, unfortunately, Schofield is able to chase down Ame.
Lesson is
That's
his
the point
last.
about Beast Coast though. It's like when you see the heroes they have, like this Earth Spirit, the Witch Doctor, Sanking, like these heroes, if playing together, they're very potent with finding early kills. And like Quap is this mid lane hero that can equally excel. Although, you know, already 6-7 stacks, completely getting bullied by Zhao 8, and I think, you know, this is the big kind of question mark you have for PSG coming into this tournament is, you know, how Zhao 8 going to do in comparison to, you know, their normal mid laner, nothing to
It's the
say.
director. Why is everybody giving him such a hard
I think he's going to do great personally. I actually think, like, of course nothing to say is amazing, but I think, you know, PSG is not going to, they're probably going to go from like a 100% to like a, you know, like a 97.5%. And I think with a stand-in, that normally it's a little bit worse. But, yeah,
Denied.
this team is for sure still going to hit every single note, I feel, because, yeah, Zhao 8 is a top lad. I remember during TI9, they first introduced playing, you know, ranked Dota at Party Queue, and those stacks were scary. Like VT Faded playing with Zhao 8, and like that was filthy. Never again Party Queue. That was, yeah, it was too much.
It's clearly made quite the impact on your memory
Yes,
here.
that is why I stopped playing ranked. Just seeing these stacks, like,
They bullied him away, dude. Did they not take the any key pledge?
no, it was something else, honestly.
just kind of interesting with over in that mid lane, the fact that, you know, they realize that Chris Luck, of course, has gone Shadow Strike, Scream Pain, so just constantly just putting these stacks on. Look at the amount of damage he's able to do, because he knows that there's no way that Chris Luck can really just back off. He gets a little bit of lifesteal from the dagger now, but he's very much bullying here.
Yeah, the key thing here is, you know, Zhao just playing within the wave, and like you have this kind of ping pong action of the wave where Chris Luck isn't able to, you know, play on his high ground and then have that blink to disengage. Like he's not leveled it yet, and because of that, Zhao is able to keep running him down and utilize the sticky early on. Of course, later into the lane, when Quap has that blink, she'll be able to, you know, play very defensive. But it's kind of a matchup where Quap is able to survive, but it's not as if it's like, you know, you're killing off the bat, right?
That's
exactly.
And I guess that's one of those things, like, I feel like you never want to hear a Quap having to play defensive. Like, this is a hero that, like, even her name is supposed to evoke aggressiveness. And this is, not really the way you want to play this, but again, this is a hero that can get quite a bit done. Oh, he knows. They do pick up the point and blink, though. I think that was very important.
Very timely here. If he was greedy there, that'd be griefing his team. He'd lose the lane and everything goes wrong. So very happy you went for the, you know, the point. It's the reason why you picked the hero. But yeah, the main talking point so far, of course, going to be this Faceless Void in the 5 role. It, you know, originated with RNG picking it, and then PSG then played, I believe, in Game 3 of the Grand Finals of OGA. Yeah, it's, in theory, very potent as well. 7.3 Chronosphere cooldown did get reduced, so buffing the support Void, actually. And simply put, you're a hero, very elusive. In lane, like the concept of laning, if you're a 5 position that can be annoying and enable your core to farm, you're going to be good, right? And like the reason why you pair it with these ranged heroes is because they like having that hero to body for you. And you know, in theory, Void is very good at that because you just tank the damage, time walk, continue playing. So like they mentioned on the panel, these Arc Wardens, these Gyros, Drows, Nature's Prophet, like they're going to thrive with this type of 5 support.
Are fortified.
I think it's a very interesting time for Dota, the fact that we're seeing so many of these heroes that, again, you know, we roll forward here from Sko, kick back over onto Zhao. It's going to be a kill, and that's going to be a rune denied here, as Schofield's able to snap it up before anyone else on the enemy team can.
Yeah, nice rotation from the Earth Spirit, just being there a little bit quicker, and also it does kind of highlight the disparity between the 4s on both teams, where like an Earth Spirit, when he's making that move, he doesn't need to be there as early, because of course he can roll in, compared to Jinkyu. He was kind of in the area, but it's a silencer, right? Like he's not going to be able to instantly connect and enable.
I mean, that is one of the downsides to that hero, is that it's not exactly a saving sort of support. You won't get a lot of sympathy from me. I told you, I hate Silencer. I would rather prefer to play this game that has all these wonderful spells and not just click things, but...
The thing with Silencer is, like, it is really good early on, because of course, you know, when you want to fight, exactly, you know, the glaives, of course, I don't think, yeah, he's got 1 point in it, but it's the idea, like, when you get your first global or 2, they're going to feel great, you know, shh, don't fight, you know, or like, haha, we're killing you. But then, how many items now can deal with that type of spell? How many, like, you got the Yules, Lotus Orbs, BKBs, Mantas, like, everyone naturally wants to buy these anyway. It's quite easy to play into Silencer. It's kind of why he fell off in the previous patches, but it'll be interesting in this game how it works, because, you know, realistically, you could also look at it as the fact that you have to buy this defensive item just to deal with this 4 position. So it'll be exciting to see how Beastcoast wants to play into this global. Do they play to just kill him first and ignore global, or are they actually trying to find ways to just mitigate that spell? And yeah, I also hate Silencer. It's kind of a slow, boring hero.
It's a great game. You've got all these spells. Why would I want a hero that removes my ability to play this cool game with spells? Like, anyways, though, not important at this time.
Do you also hate like Enigma and Void and stuff? That he's like,
no, that's
super...
fine. Okay, that's fine. I don't know. Also, he's got dumb hats. I hate his hat. That hat's okay. All right, it's fine. It's fine. But we are seeing that both the supports on each side taking very good care of their jungle. You got the triangle that's nicely stacked. Look at this CQ. Look at these stacks, baby. They are beautiful. Didn't manage to get that last one. Dying, actually, to some of these creeps. Has to be a bit careful.
The difference here is simply the efficiencies of what stacks you're making, right? Like Jinkyu being the pos 4, playing into the ancient camps, whilst, you know, Beastcoast, they're playing into, you know, their own jungle. So it'll be hard camp, medium camp stacked up.
Radiant's
and that's
top
where the
tower
Gyro,
is under
he will be able
attack.
to, you know, pull ahead slightly and, you know, farm that a lot quicker than the Naga can. Of course, Naga can't really farm the ancients until maybe a couple items time.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That is true. It'll be interesting too, because you look at what the sports you have, and of course you do have the Night Stalker over on the side of PSG.LGD, someone who's going to be able to hunt quite a bit, because you know exactly where both of these cores want to be, what they want to do. They want to be, you know, taking these stacks. Look at this, they're already
Dire's top
teleporting
tower is under attack.
Schofield's not looking too healthy right now, so he is going to fall. But with the epicenter, trying to get enough damage. But again, that's the nice thing about this Faceless Void, is able to just walk away. Silence proccing though over onto Whisper. Chris Luck was trying to make a play here. It's really the difficulty because he's going to go for the Sonic Wave, trying to just finish off Q, but Chris Luck also could fall, and they silence. I thought they were going to get the deny.
He tried at least, didn't get it, but alas, yeah, PSG rotating quite nicely to that. And I think, you know, we started talking about the, you know, the Night Stalker there. I'm excited to see this hero's entry to the game, because going for the Echo Saber build, this is the fact that you get your phase, Soul Ring, Echo Saber, you fight, you punch a lot. We can watch the highlight first. The classic Void, you know, taking all the spells, doing his part. This is just like a Beastcoast move where they're kind of just moving in with a couple heroes and everyone's not there at the exact time, right? It's like you have the roll and then the Quap appears later, but if you look at the mana, like they're not really coming in healthy to the fight. And then meanwhile, you know, your Night Stalker's just farming up top, and Q eventually does fall.
Because he's like, oh, just a second.
You know what? That should have been a deny. Hold on, let's go. Let's run it back. Run it back. I'd be very sad if I didn't get that deny there.
My favorite is when I get to deny my teammates. Come back here, let me deny.
Right,
I'm gonna be fine, Moxie.
Do you deny them at the point where, you know, they are going to confirm die, or do you start teasing them where it's like 1 click, 2 click? Ooh, you might die now, so I have to deny.
No, I'm not that big of a statistic person. No.
It depends on what they've done in, you know, in the earlier parts of the game. If they have to be
depends on how good of a friend I am. If, you know, like, we go for that griefing or not. But Shao8, top lane, there's going to be a rotation here from Sko. He's going to get dragged back. The follow-up here from E. The roll out from Schofield. He's pretty hard to get his hands on, but of course FaceBN is very, very fast. They've got all that nice vision, and he does indeed fall. Stinger now too, trying to run away. He's got that little restoration, got 2 points in it, but FaceBN, okay, a couple nice little bounces here. Hit back though from that rider, and it is a double kill now for FaceBN.
Unfortunately for Beastcoast, the prior 2 engagements, it's been one where they tried to look for the fight, unfortunately then failed, but then they moved to the area of Night Stalker, where he just gets to pop his ultimate and run the supports down. Like, we started this game talking about how when you open your support geo, they often have a couple of games due to the, you know, the counter picks and the idea that PSG brings to this game. And again, I really want to highlight, I love the fact that Echo Saber on Night Stalker, like this item, you go for the Echo Saber, you fight a lot early on, then you can disassemble it. Buy that BKB, have the casual Oblivion there, and you just play a pretty chill game. So it's a really nice, like, disassembling was, again, I think it was actually, it was Chinese Dota as well that really highlighted the strength of disassembling items, and of course, you know, the Echo Saber here is a very prominent one right now.
It's all about efficiency. Yeah, very, very fun to watch. Whisper though over here trying to run away. Shao, hot in pursuit. The roll forward here from Sko, trying to get some body blocks here, trying to keep Whisper alive. Looks like he is going to die for this, but there is some follow-up. Seeing Q take a lot of damage here from Chris Luck. Should be able to get this kill. Can he get anything else though is the question. They do have the lasso up if they wanted to go for some sort of teleport and try to turn this around. It's possible. Sandstorm though, plus the Sonic Wave. That is a dead Shao8.
That was really good from Whisper. Even though it was low HP, just stay in the area, try and, you know, enable Chris Luck, because worst case scenario, you're going to trade your life for Chris Luck to get another kill.
Radiant's
and,
bottom
you know, that's exactly
tower is
what
under
you need
attack.
from your Quap. You want your Quap to have like a 1k, 2k lead to be able to just control the game, like dictate every single fight in the first 15 minutes. And I think Beastcoast, they are identifying how their draft needs to play this game. It is connect the Earth Spirit, the Sand King, the Witcher, these guys together, and the Quap joins after. So after that bot play, they're instantly smoked up, looking to try and make a play once again. But running into the void in mid lane is not ideal, so hopefully they can kind of skirt around this as they draw the line, trying to look into the try camp where our mate is.
Look at this efficiency. They actually have the illusion standing over there too if they want to go for this.
There's the
have
global,
to be
though.
careful though, like we said, that global coming in hot. Stinger turning back around, does get the Malekiths down, and he's looking for this opening. FaceBN following up. Gets himself that killing spree. Now this is not looking super great for him. Might be able to get himself a courier on the way out, but he realizes he's got to get the heck out of here as they do teleport back, and they want Schofield. This is classic Schofield behavior because he tends to just try to take as much space as possible when things start going wrong and lead them on a chase. But this again, it opens up for the fact that Ame still has these stacks.
Yeah, and this is the strength of the silencer, right? It's the fact that Beastcoast, they have all these stunning, killing heroes. They run on in, blink reveal. oh wait, one global.
Radiant's
Now this
top
independent
tower is
gyro
under
gets to
attack.
brush off the opponent. Everyone then collapses in with the Night Stalker, and Beastcoast are on the retreat. So realistically, this is the best window to, unfortunately, try and go again, right? Like there isn't a global, there isn't a Night Stalker ult. You know, it's daytime for another 3 minutes. Just try and make another play, because you can't really fight into global before you have these like cheap ways to get rid of that effect.
Yeah, and it was a very expensive gank for them, because not only did they not manage to get that, the lasso, the drag back into the arms of Faith Bien, and Zhao 8 will collect himself another kill. I was about to say though, it's expensive because
It is.
you lost how many heroes in that last gank, and then you also did not manage to take the stacks. So I think.
And also it's just the time spent, right? Like when we spoke about that smoke, they smoked from bottom into mid, saw the void, then moved further around to try and get into the triangle. Like there was just a lot of resources used to even try and find the gyrocopter. And if there was any other position 4 there, without, like, if it wasn't silencer, you're probably getting that kill, trading a couple guys off, but you're going to be happy you killed the carry. And it's just simply the early, dominance of the global. But here, like I mentioned, Beastcoast, they have to go again. They cannot be scared of losing these fights, because they are losing to the bigger spells right now. Maybe they find
the director.
They are. There it is.
Right there, the roll forward, all of the stunts, a little bit off the mark there, like a little bit of overkill, but still managed to get the kill on the Batrider, and it's allowing Chris Luck to get more time to be able to farm up the BKB. Hector, of course, doing Hector things, but look at this response now.
Radiant's
They're not
bottom
happy about
tower
this
is
over
under
on the side
attack.
of PSG.LGD. They're looking
Radiant
for blood. They know
structures are
exactly where
fortified.
these heroes are, and Hector also made his own rotation.
Because Global's back up again. That's why they're looking so happy. You've got the Dark Ascension on Night Stalker soon going to be, I think it's, there it is.
Let's go though. Perfect positioning. They can already spot them out. Dark Ascension was looking for the opening. We'll jump immediately over onto the silencer. They don't want to allow him to get that global silencer, but there it is. They still managed to get it. So Schofield first to fall. Chronosphere followed up here from
Radiant's
They're going to
bottom
try to
tower
just
has
burst out
fallen.
if possible. And they've managed to get the kill on Stinger. Hector now trying to run away. Chris Luck is nearby. The epicenter comes through. It's a triple kill for Chris Luck with the Sonic Wave.
Was the sound of your
Like the start of that fight from Beastcoast, like they perfectly found the silencer, and then the Night Stalker expertly getting the silencer onto the Earth Spirit so that they couldn't chain lock down the silencer meant the global got off. We were like, oh, okay, maybe PSG can turn it around. But with Arme not being there, with the full force of Beastcoast, they're able to survive through the
bottom
global.
tower is
Not
under
instantly,
attack.
then died to a Chrono that didn't really do much because obviously no carry being there, not going to get the kills.
Dyer's top
Beastcoast
tower
just
is
demonstrating
under attack.
they can kill early on. I think when items come out, that's when PSG will be happy. As we go into the replay here, this is the best part. So Schofield's positioning breaks the smoke. Whisper then instantly gets onto the silencer, and because of the silence from Night Stalker, Zinq, like I mentioned, gets that global off. And yeah, like the Chrono looks good, but there's no one really here, right?
Sure, they're too separated.
Exactly. And then now they're all kind of clumped up, enabling Chris Luck to
Radiant's
get
top
that beautiful
tower
ultimate
is
off.
under
And of
attack.
course, Whisper, the two-man stun into Epi. Yeah, just cleaning up the fight. And this is exactly, well, that sounded quite nice.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It sounded like Naga was singing there, not Queen of Pain.
Luckily, he didn't sing. That would have griefed the fight, but...
It would indeed, but the BKB now completed for Chris Luck. But while that was going on, Ame
Radiant
taking
are
advantage
scanning.
of that space, has managed to get himself his admin scepter. He's going to walk right into a couple of not so friendly faces here. Again, it is a faceless void, but he is going to take some damage over on the side of Ame. He's looking to get jumped, but the follow-up here from Noise will be able to take out Rose for Chris Luck, though he finds a kill on Ame. Zhao 8 still looking for this opening, though. Has already used that lasso. He's going to try to just burn down some of the wood, but the rest of Beastcoast nearby. Faith Biana also making his own rotation. They're hoping maybe someone's going to stick around a little bit too long. Does not have the Dark Ascension. Schofield, though, over here on the side. Stinger does get bounced back. That silence, ooh, it hurts so bad. But it looks
Radiant's
like Stinger going to
middle
make it out
tower is
alive. And
under
Schofield
attack.
still somehow, in classic Schofield fashion, manages to buy a little bit more time, but does
tower
lose
is
that
under
intelligence to Zinq in the end.
Honestly, I think
Radiant's
Beastcoast
middle
will be happy
tower
with this.
is under
We
attack.
mentioned how Gyro wasn't in most of these fights early on. Like he's been quite greedy with his build, going
Dyer's structures
for
are fortified.
the full-on Ags, then looking at the BKB. So they get that kill, and there's it's like a
Radiant's
healthy
middle tower
1.2,
is under
1.3k
attack.
lead for Naga now. And that's kind of
Dyer's
what you
top
need.
tower
Like
is
when you
under
get to
attack.
Manta, Diffusal, you look for these fights. Like you can, like Diffusal Blade
Dyer's
destroys
top
Night
tower
Stalker. Like
has
if he
fallen.
ever gets slowed within his ultimate, like he can run, but like you're gonna die inside that. And I think Gyrocopter, if you just delay that BKB long enough, when you get to like minute 18, Beastcoast can really utilize this timing and maybe shut down the map, because once Naga crosses the river and constantly spams illusions, it is annoying to try and get back out onto the map, and that is the kind of the negative effect of having these type of heroes in PSG, right? Like they're good when they're in the head, but if you're behind, avoid pushing out lanes, silence pushing out lanes. It can be difficult.
Dire's top tower
Chrono
is under
Zero
attack.
here coming out from Faith. The Void's gonna, yes, he's still going to get taken out, but Stinger also falling. Faith again flying after Schofield now. They'll be able to collect that kill, and Chris Luck is forced away and was forced to use that BKB. FaithBN still doing a little bit of scouting here. Does manage to see Whisper's courier.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Door is
attack.
nearby. They still have the
Dire are
epicenter,
scanning.
and they still have the sonic wave.
He's hitting some big chronos so far. Like every single chrono has been like a 2-3 man, and that is just a product.
Radiant's
when
bottom
Beastcoast
tower
wants to
is
take a
under
fight,
attack.
like they need everyone to be kind of in the fight, right? So the value of the Void just goes up.
Can see now that Beastcoast is playing the bottom half of the jungle frame. It's very scary here for Schofield though.
Oh, the
Because, yeah, you know, FaithBN just running at him. There's not much you can do as a support when Night Stalker is hungry, unless you have the rest of the team behind you, because that silence is just so brutal.
Yeah, it's rough, and I'm not going to be looking forward to Beastcoast support Joe in like 20 minutes time when everyone's got BKBs and they're just like, hi guys, I'm here. But, you know, right now this is, you know, reset, go again. K1, he's now got the diffusal blade.
Under attack.
I'm looking forward to seeing how Beastcoast kind of tries to break down PSG here. Maybe they got to bait out a global and then look for the play after. But again, it's going to be very difficult because if there's no global, there's probably going to be a chrono. If there's no chrono, Night Stalker's probably in the area just scouting out the smokes and just preventing that engagement. So Beastcoast have to make sure they, you know, execute at a really high level, kind of cutting through that vision advantage that PSG will have.
I mean, right now we've got a classic Ektor,
Radiant's middle
core
tower
game,
is
right?
under
If you take a look at Ektor's stats, he's 0-0-3 right now, so he's just been allowed
Radiant's
to
middle
basically
tower
do what
has
he
fallen.
likes, because they did try to have that one fight in the bottom area, but it ended up not being able to work for them because Whisper did get the jump right away on the silence, but the fight was just spread so far out. So, you know, he has to be feeling pretty comfortable right now, having that space and the breath. But the BKB is being worked on by Ame, and this is a hero that, you know, he does very, very well with farming. Marking the sonic wave. See you later.
Chris Luck did that to make sure that wasn't clipped as a whoa missed roll. It's like no, we got the kill. We didn't need the roll. Just
No, that was it was Sko making sure that, you know, Chris Luck up nub. That was
which way are we gonna spin this one?
Off the mark.
And then, yeah, Queen of Pain going for the Orchid as well. I like the fact that he just went straight for the BKB. You know, it's just respecting the silencer and the type of game that PSG can bring out, because, you know, if Beastcoast also get their own BKBs, where is the damage outside of maybe Night Stalker right-clicking you and then Gyrocopter, you know, flacking you down? So there is going to be a really nice window where BKBs on both sides will be able to lead a good advantage of who kind of gets them first. And of course, Beastcoast clearly prioritizing that a little bit more than PSG right now.
Yeah, you have to respect PSG.LGD. This is one of the best teams in the world, in my opinion. And also the fact that, you know, you're playing with Queen of Pain. And Chris Luck's very good at Queen of Pain, but when you're dealing with things like a silencer, or for example, the Night Stalker, right, with that ground targeted silence, it's hard if you make one misplay. So it's better to, you know, I know people are like, oh, boring King Bar, but in this case, you're playing to win.
But that's the thing, right, where obviously it's not a 7.3 thing, but the fact that the BKB cooldown at the lowest level is only 6 seconds. That's
Radiant's
still pretty
top
healthy.
tower is
Like,
under
when it was
attack.
5, that was awkward. But like the comfort of the extra second, it does, like, it means that you, on cores you can just buy it and be like, I don't really care. If we go to a 50-minute point in the game, 6-second BKB is still going to be very, very comfortable to play with. And now you see PSG, they kind of realize that these early fights aren't going their way. They're going to go back and farm and get their own BKBs like we mentioned.
You have to be a bit careful here. They did have the dust. See, so when your BKB comes out now from Zhao, a follow-up though, looking to see if they can get some more damage. It's not looking very good over here for the Sand King. So Whisper will fall, the Chrono gets used. But again, it's a position 5 Void. He does not have the damage when the fights are split up like this, especially not with the BKBs being up. Chris Luck considering going back in, FaithBN trying to get as much vision as possible as Ane sits in the middle, he's trying to flak everything.
You no team really doing any damage in that fight. It was like a chrono to kill the Sand King, but they weren't really able to, you know, get that clean lockdown. The Night Stalker went straight into the middle of the fight. They got the defusal slow, but there wasn't that extra something to try and connect and get the kill.
The positioning's been very interesting from Beastcoast. I mean, like, Whisper, and let's just be honest, Schofield is a bloodthirsty, like,
he's in there.
Character. He wants to get in there. He's ready to go. But if you notice, like, Ektor is nearby, but he's always kind of dancing on the outskirts in case.
Yep.
You know, they have had some really nice chronospheres because he has been in position, but the problem is these fights are so split up. They have their eyes on Zhao 8 again here. Turn back around. They've got the Veil. They'll start with the Magnetize. Stinger making his way over. Does buzz it. They want to get rid of this pesky silencer.
Silence is
comes out.
broken.
That's a dead silencer. This is looking like a dead Zhao 8 if they can get the final hits off. It's ticking down a little bit. The string comes forward. They'll follow up the burrow strike. Ektor is
Radiant's top
and
tower
Whisper
is
gets
under
a
attack.
kill.
That was so good from Beastcoast. Like the idea of like
Radiant's
that mid-fight we're
top
talking
tower
about,
has fallen.
it's the fact that they trade off the Sand King, but they instantly disengage. They're not
Radiant's
trying to like,
middle
oh guys, they're
tower
waiting to
is under
BKB, let's
attack.
song run them down. They just go back
Dire's
to their
bottom
side,
tower
they
is
instantly
under
smoke
attack.
up, run across the entire map, finding them these cores that use their BKB. Like Jarrett was in the river, had to defensively BKB to try and kill the Sand King, run away. And then, yeah, so really good read from Beastcoast, and there was no global once again, which is
Dire's
how
bottom
Beastcoast was able to
tower is under
capitalize
attack.
on this fight. And then Faith being kind of trading his
Dire's
life in as well,
bottom
like trying to
tower
save,
has
you know, the director. Yeah, really good stuff. Naga coming in at the very end, took a guys, I promise I'm here.
Roshan has fallen to the dust.
Yeah. Come put your belly in.
Radiant's middle
15
tower
kills
is
inside
under
the
attack.
Beastcoast and 4 assists on your Naga,
Dire's
0
bottom tower
kills.
is under attack.
Yeah, he's just been allowed to do the farming that he wants to do. So he's doing quite well.
Yeah, going straight for the Abyssal Blade, which means he's going to have a way to lock onto this Gyrocopter, because the way in which PSG is going to want to take this fight is you're going to have all these like Vision-style heroes, the Bat, the Night Stalker, and then Gyro's going to be somewhat put into the middle of the fight. That BKB allows him just to enter.
Right.
But if there's that instant, you know, Abyssal Blade from Naga, you can lock on yourself, get onto him.
Dire's
It's going
middle
to be
tower is
a lot
under
more
attack.
defensive style of play from PSG, not so, you know, run over your opponent, which is kind of what their lineup wants to do. It's everyone for themselves, get on top of Beastcoast and kill them for being squishier heroes, but that isn't going to come into play if now this 0-0
Dire
for Naga
are scanning.
actually wants to join the fights with the Song and the Abyssal. Yeah, it's looking good.
I think when you've got an Aegis, it usually, I mean, it's like you could have it as a farming Aegis, but right now it feels like Beastcoast has a lot of momentum, and you can see now PSG.LGD, they're not happy about this. They're going to see if they can get themselves a pick off, and again, it's always Schofield who seems to break these notes and whatnot. So the first to go down is going to be Schofield. All right, looking for the opening. He's got his eyes on Stinger. He'd rather have someone maybe a bit bigger over here, but they do end up finding Faith who pops his own BKB. Ektor has to be careful. He's got the Song of the Siren. He decides he has Whisper, though, starts blowing up here. They get a nice lasso, and then finish on Ektor. Fast up, it's going silence. The follow-up, that is going to be the Aegis there, and it's coming through. The first down Faith. And now Ektor, he's up and alive. Is he going to go back in though? Looks like he doesn't want to be there. They end up using the Song. Probably not necessary, as they do manage to find Zhao yet again. Xingqiu though is going to survive, but Beastcoast has just taken over their jungle.
That was really unfortunate for PSG in the idea their smoke coming in, they instantly bump into the support, so they both
Radiant's
have
bottom
buybacks.
tower
They
is
were
under
able to get
attack.
that kind of clean kill, and then of course because of Beastcoast's prior moves, they have this
Radiant
Aegis, they're able to make that
structures are
play.
fortified.
And if the Naga had the Abyssal for that fight, that would have also been, you know, the dead Gyrocopter as well, completely different story as well. But yeah, great stuff from Beastcoast, really being
look at it go.
Radiant's
They
bottom
get spotted
tower is
by
under attack.
Schofield, and there's 4 heroes on the side of Beastcoast to give him a warm welcome into his own triangle. His beautiful Chronosphere here from Eva. Where's your damage? Are they going to be able to even finish off Stinger?
Radiant's
Food of
bottom
Restoration. They have to be
tower is under
very careful.
attack.
In fact, he's forced to run. Abyssal now completed on K1.
It was a cool looking Chrono,
It was beautiful, but
no one was there because they were dead.
And speaking of not too many people being here, the silence comes out, throw forward here. Again, they've got that Abyssal, they've got the Lotus. And here that there is a surge coming out from this Queen of Pain, but she pops her own BKB. Fabian trying to find this opening, but the opening docked in place here using that cast. Zhao 8 again will fall. Ektor just waltzes right back up again. How does PSG get in here?
They are playing some fast, cohesive Dota, that they are moving as a unit
Radiant's
across this
bottom
map,
tower
punishing
is
any
under
moment where
attack.
PSG is trying to eke out a little bit more farm. They are there, they are killing them.
Radiant's
and that
bottom
is
tower
really
has
commendable.
fallen.
I think like Arme walking up to this tri-camp,
Radiant's bottom
when you're playing
barracks
against
are under
these style of
attack.
aggressive heroes, you can't be doing that. So yeah, really good stuff from Beastcoast, just not allowing them to have the room that
Radiant's
they kind of
bottom
want to have.
barracks
What are they
has fallen.
feeding them in Jersey? Because I
Radiant's
was watching them
bottom
during the
barracks are under
Pro
attack.
Series,
Radiant's
and they were
bottom
not
barracks
looking good
has
at all. Maybe it's because the rest of the team has rejoined them at the team house, but this is the Beastcoast that I remember seeing.
Yeah, they're playing fast, they're playing good. It's nice. What's Naga at now? Not 8. Yet to get a kill.
Classic.
That'd be interesting if they win a game where their carry doesn't have a single kill. But top net worth.
I'll take your
That's every like anti-mage player's dream.
That is, yes, the perfect anti-mage game where you only have a couple assists, but you've been allowed to farm the entire time.
It's like 0.02. That's premium anti-mage. 90-minute game, ratting for the end of time.
So what does PSG.LGD need to do right now? Because, you know, they started off, it looked great. Ame had lots of farm, they were stacking. What's going a little bit wrong here for them?
So far, they've not really been able to dictate their own fight. They've not been able to play around this Night Stalker and kind of unlock where the supports kill them off. It's been like the big game-breaking play they made where they smoked into their own jungle.
The director walks right into Whisper again. Epicenter channel. First strike comes in, and he's just obliterated.
And unfortunately, you know, to build on that point, it is the fact that, you know, Zhao Wei, Ame, these two players, they have kind of been picked off by themselves, trying to farm a little bit more on the map than maybe they're allowed. And it is kind of a product of, if you look at the minimap, the vision from PSG is very kind of mid-centric, so as soon as you leave that area, it's going to be difficult to farm with confidence.
He's looking for Zabine. Happy if they could maybe get their hands on Whisper. The rest of the team, though, circling around Ame. They go in, they go for the Chronosphere right over on the edge. Stinger is here, though. They do manage to get the kill on Whisper. And now the silence over on Stinger. He's just chasing down with Faith Bien. And over in the corner, looks like Schofield also perhaps just a bit too cheeky here. As PSG.LGD find themselves some much-needed kills.
Yeah, this is what you wanted to see from PSG. They even though, you know, Zhao Weight's dead, they punish the kind of the comfort Beastcoast had because they assumed they wouldn't make a play. And like you see there, you've got the Naga Siren and the Quap. They weren't even in that initial engagement. They're kind of running in, and it's like, oh, they're already dead now. Just go back and farm. And this is the type of stuff you want to see from PSG. You know, you can, if you chrono someone, they're going to die. There aren't really saves on Beastcoast outside of maybe singing a hero that isn't BKB.
That sounds like such a hippie answer. There's no solution for this violence other than singing.
Yeah, exactly. But no, like, if you see right now in this replay, like, look at the mid-map. The two big cores just aren't even there. One has TP to the outpost, one's running in. And this is like the type of fight PSG wants, where you're just punishing Beastcoast farming too much on the map. And yeah, this is... It isn't over for either team for sure. It's very, very close because as much as we joke around about this Naga not having a kill, it's because Naga is a little bit afraid to enter a bigger fight, right? Like, you continue to farm your farm, but if you overlock down inside that chrono with a Firefly on top of you, Gyro right-clicking you, like, you are gonna die. So that's why you're seeing this Naga kind of continuing to play on the edge.
The response coming out from PSG.LGD in that top fight was fast and fierce. The second that Zhao even got initiated on, you could see that movement coming in. They're like, okay, it's usually just going to be, you know, Schofield +1 generally, usually Whisper. But they're like, let's make something happen out of this. And that's exactly the play there.
They're evolving over the game. It's like, wait a second, Beastcoast, yeah, they continue to play as like 2 or 3. Yeah. Let's not die to this anymore. Well, let's die, but at least kill them after.
That's the mark of a very good team, is one that can just start changing immediately. They can. I can't think of the right phrase right now. My brain's
adapting, overcoming.
Adapting,
there
yes.
We go.
Adapt.
That wasn't even a big word. I was like, I'm going to sound smart.
The evolution is what I was going for.
That's a better one, yeah.
But adapt does indeed work. FBN does get spotted out over here on the side. And look at this positioning now coming out from Beastcoast. They know exactly what they want, but they do have the Ags completed now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The silencer. So that is going to help. But again, EKBs. And that was a little bit much. It does have to be KB, but of course there it is, the global silence coming out. Whisper waiting patiently. Evo, he spotted everybody over on this back edge, looking for an opening. The snares of the king back, and they get over there fast. And so much damage. He's not gonna lose this. They get the kill. Let's go field next to fall. Oh, Maybo doing so much damage. Shuts down Stinger. Hector, he's silenced up. He's thinking about singing. He does get donked though. Whisper looking for his opening. They did fight back for this. They really want the kill on the Star Fox. The Guardian episode got so much damage they'll be able to take him out. And now the bat right over here on the side. They have to be careful. They can't afford to end up losing speed of pain. She just like the side still dead, despite the fact they have the song. Beastcoast now forced to just retreat.
Radiant's middle
Naga turning back around. They figure, all right, we're going down, but we're taking another couple with the defense. They managed to go. They take down Faith Bien. And now thank you. Running for his life here. Has to pop the spider legs. What a turnaround.
I was like, the Naga had TP up. I was like, are you going to just TP now? Oh, no, you're going to just hold the high ground. Whew.
But these fights are just like a hair's edge sometimes.
Radiant's
close
middle
either way,
tower
like
the
is
kind of
under
Dota I
attack.
love to say.
I mean, the start of the fight was Chris Luck just yeeting himself into the
Yeah,
bench.
that was
Radiant's middle
reckless.
tower
A little.
has fallen.
And I think that was the right response.
Radiant's
to it.
middle tower is under
but the
attack.
fact that, you know, he buys back, come back in, and of course, and then a very nice clutch play from the Naga and Sankin combination. Like, we saw it from the laning phase where Whisper, they're just playing on the lowest HP, but they know, like, if we have the stun, if we have the spells needed, we can get the kill. And we see here, this is where the Quap instantly buys back into the fight, and you have Night Stalker playing on the fringe. Of course, the Jared Tuff used the BKB and Satanic at the very start just to try and, you know, clear through that initial aggression. If that song got off, maybe a different story. You can then layer like a two-man burrow, you can get these kills. But it's the fact that when you don't have any defensive spells, Jerry will instantly...
Roshan has fallen to the ground.
Well, they're about to have themselves another nice advantage because they just took Roshan.
It didn't actually have the... Did he misclick the Lotus onto Naga, or did it just come up? I didn't actually see on the replay, but maybe could have saved
Radiant's
the Quap if the
top
cooldown to a
tower is
little
under
bit better.
attack.
And then they're very cool turnaround.
Yep, so we've got a fresh Aegis. We've got the Aghanim Shard that allows the healing of allies by 5% of their max HP.
Would have saved the Quap.
Would have saved the Quap. Smoke play, though, coming out from PSG.LGD. But again, Schofield always
Radiant's
front
top
and
tower is
foremost
under
here,
attack.
breaking the smoke, tanking the gank. Naga just making sure that they can make a clean escape here. It's gonna wander
Radiant's
on
middle
through,
tower is under attack.
walk away.
Yeah, they have 4 minutes on the Aegis, so they can still stay in the
They
area.
think about it, and they do.
Yeah.
Okay, smoke breaks over on Void here. They see him, they'll go in for the Does have the Chronos here, more Chrono over on Smoke. This is maybe what they needed. But look at this animal coming out here. Over on the side, Naga is silent. Jump forward, the lasso over onto the back lines as well. That's the global silence. They'll take down the Aegis the first time. They'll take down Stinger. Whisper now running forward. They just have the Lotus on him. Silence roll forward, though, coming up from Scott. Will be able to buy a little bit more time. Sonic Wave comes out, then Q, he's dead. And they're going to try to turn back around. They'll get the kill on Whisper. Schofield rolling on out. Ector looking for this opening. Does spot Faith BN over here on the side. Schofield eventually click down by Ame. But the fight is so split up. No way to cancel out that TP. Not fast enough with the net. So I believe it was on cooldown. The BKB did get popped from Ector. They end up losing 2 of their supports. They would love to get a little bit more. I don't know. You know, Chris Luck, he's a pretty YOLO person, but looks like he might have learned his lesson a little bit from the last time that he took a
Radiant's
very
top tower
blind
has
dive.
fallen.
Shao?
He has the Abyssal on Naga as well.
He does.
Right.
You need to be very careful. Yeah, they go there. And that's just a free little bonus.
Yeah, PSG right now, they are kind of falling victim to the fact that, you know, their heroes are very like they can fight or they can't. You know, the initial engagement, when your fight's going into an Aegis, it's like we chrono, we have to find a kill. And they don't really get that. And then, of course, Jerry, once again, like if he doesn't have BKB, doesn't have Satanic, he is then going to get slowly kited out. And the fight, they last so long that K1's able to just slowly whittle them down. And there's so much to say, right? Which was the hill?
There's the BKB, though. Joining back into the fight. No Chronosphere available just yet. Stinger is going to have to force himself away. To jump forward, though, they should be able to take down the Void.
That's a lot of damage.
That is
Radiant's
a heck
middle
of a lot
tower
of
is
damage
under
indeed.
attack.
Now
Radiant
Ame waiting for the rest of his
structures
team
are
to respawn. Gonna have Faith BN back up in a moment. These flak clearing up some of the creep
Radiant's
wave.
middle barracks are under attack.
Plenty of silence being tossed out over here, but they don't really seem to care because all they want to do is click. Faith BN though, spots out after he's got that BKB. Just gonna try to run away with the rest of his team as they are lovely signs. They go back in with a song though. They turn it back around. And they're looking. Buy back
Radiant's
now. They're
middle
from the
tower
faceless
is
one. He
under
doesn't
attack.
like this. He's gonna try to protect his teammates. Are they gonna be able to do it though? Unfortunately, because they're doing too much damage over the
Radiant's
There's
middle
no here. He
barracks are
popped
under
back
attack.
and died. It looks like though they're probably going to end up losing Chris Luck because that global the ground targeted silence too strong. But while
Radiant's
this is
middle
going on, while they're chasing
fallen.
Stinger, while they're chasing Schofield, they do manage to get the last one here to enter, destroying buildings. So Whisper will go down. They should be able to get Schofield here. They get a triple kill on Ame, which is very needed. But they lost a lot of buildings during this, and they got
Radiant's
a couple
top
buybacks.
tower is
Yeah,
under
they're
attack.
just lacking damage. They're struggling so much with this Naga Siren. It's kind of like, we're going to run this entire game. It's only been 35 minutes. It feels a lot longer, but
Dire's
when
middle
Naga
tower
goes throughout
is
this
under
entire
attack.
game, not really having to do
Dire's
much, and then suddenly
structures
appears
are
with the
fortified.
BKB, the butterfly, and everything. It is, you have to like focus every little bit of damage into this, and it's a struggle when you have such a charismatic players on Quap which is running in, going, I gotta use a spell, otherwise we are gonna
Ector is
kill you.
feeling very bold. The rest of his team is dead. Like, you're gonna have to for a moment, but no one else has his buyback. He does have a Shadow Blade, though.
That's just so annoying.
Look at
Radiant's courier has been killed.
And a courier.
Oh no.
That is the lottery one.
That
Beast
feels
Coast.
so bad for PSG.LGD.
Oh, that could have been the best bait. If there's like one more hero alive, you stay there shadow bladed on the 3 bounty runes. They walk up, go, guys, money! Bam, die. But you know, at least K1 cashes in his check.
I'm just remembering there was this video back when Slacks, I think, applied to like a casting program that Cap was running, and he just would start screaming like, "Cha-ching! There's the money, babe!" I was like, man, that would have been a perfect time for that voice.
Dire are scanning.
What's the most bounty runes that you've seen in a pro game on like one side of
pro game?
Yeah. I don't want to say pub because you know
That
we're
happens
gonna
quite
flame
often.
ourselves. Yeah.
I think 3 or 4,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Ooh, double damage. Chris Lux says, thank you, I'll take that. I mean, could have put it over on Hector, but I think he's got plenty of damage himself. Looking for the opening. Silence coming out from Sko. Ame looking again. They get the silence there for BKB. Hector just going to walk away as the call down comes down. Face BN still keeping tabs. Does see Stinger. All right, there it is. There's a nice turn of here. Are they going to be able to put out enough damage? But they get a couple of bounces here. No, they're not going to be able to follow up. So it looks like Stinger. Oh no, at the last second, that last prop coming through. Hector, he's just being bounced around like pinball, but they get the kill. And Scofa pops his own BKB, but PSG.LGD, they're coming in fast and furious, and they're looking for blood.
There it is, PSG. They finally, after 15 minutes of struggle in fights, they get that clean connection of the Chrono onto the Naga, where Beastcoast isn't ready with all 5 to then like try and fight off and fend away from that Chrono, and they're able to just throw all the damage and kill that Naga Siren.
Whisker runs right past it. Pioneer.
Oh, the Wind Waker.
Regeneration!
That'd be another voice line I'd like to see.
Oh, it's such a satisfying item. It just makes you jolly when you see some spin off into the tree line.
Dire's middle tower
Oh, now we
is
can
under
see the
attack.
replay. Ooh. But yeah, so basically this is where the strength of Void comes into play because he's annoying the opponent. He's just
Dire's
kind of getting
middle
that
tower
vision,
is under
and then
attack.
because of where Beastcoast is,
Dire's
like you look on the
structures
minimap,
are
you've got both
fortified.
the Sanking and the Quap not even in the start of the fight, and then the Chrono
Radiant
blocks onto
are
Naga.
scanning.
Zhao nearly knocks the Naga
Dire's
out
middle
of the
tower
Chrono
is
with the
under
flame break,
attack.
but luckily still on the very edge. But because they have that clean connection, everyone's able to put the damage in from the left-hand
Dire's
side.
middle tower
They're going
has
to
fallen.
profit from that and slowly bring the game a little bit closer. Now only a 6k lead to Beastcoast. Yeah, this game is like, even though Beastcoast have 2 racks, like they have to execute so cleanly in a way in which Naga doesn't just like get blown up from the Chronosphere. Like if she dies to Chrono, PSG just charge down the lane, and I think realistically, it's this next Aegis. Beastcoast, if they get it, they're going to be able to get mega creeps. They're going to be able to hold the game to a point of they can just farm until they're ready to end. But it's PSG. They need to be the ones getting the vision around the pit, make sure they actually contest this Roshan, because fighting into Aegis with their heroes, which are very like fight or not, it's so hard, and it's why this game is going so well for Beastcoast. It's because they've been able to unlock Roshan.
Ooh, that's a nice pick off over here. They're going to be able to remove Whisper for the game for 90-something seconds.
Sit burn!
I think
Yeah,
you're very happy about that if you're PSG.LGD. Ooh, Witchbane. New neutral item, T.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, what are we just spelling here? Oh, well, Silencer, sorry for playing Dota 2.
I love this item.
I was looking across the heroes like, oh, what's he going to do? This and that. Oh, yeah, the hero that hates anything getting removed. Great. Well, I'm sorry, Jin-Q. You had a great time, but alas.
He's a pretty smart fella, too. He's got 38 stolen int. But, yeah, I mean, that was one thing that I was noticing, is that it feels like they're trying to bait out the BKB a bit early, and like trying to bait out all of like these defensive items so they can follow up with the global silence when they start to collapse. But jump forward immediately over onto Ame, and they've got so much damage. Oh dear God, he's trying to fight through it. He's got his own BKB. You have to be careful. They have the Sonic Wave. Global silence coming out. Oh, and a Chronosphere over onto the 2 cores. But are they going to be able to take out him? But Chris Lucky's going to fall. After he's trying to be silenced, he can't seem to get away fast enough. He is going for a triple kill now for Ame, as they also take down Stinger. That is a team wipe.
That is, okay, first of all,
Beautiful.
Innocent, banging tip for Ame, because when you first look at that fight, you're like, Ame,
Dire's
why
middle
are you
tower
there? Like,
is under
look
attack.
at the map right now. There is no way in the world that Beastcoast going on this gyrocopter does anything other than he's out of position. He should be dying. But the BKB,
Dire's
the
middle
Titanic,
barracks
just the
are
ability
under
to just
attack.
be there, and of course Innocence then coming in close enough with the Chrono, turns it completely around. Beautiful positioning to not get the gyrocopter as well. Like, That is a game winning chrono for sure.
Mass buybacks coming out now. They'll be able to take out Faceless Void quite bad. BKB is getting popped. You got the Satanic Pop, the follow-up though here from Whisper. They'll be able to take down Stinger. Can they take down Omni though? The fight is looking pretty gosh darn good. All right, double kill now for Hector. Looks like they'll be able to take down round 8, and they'll be able to grab themselves maybe a gem as well. They'll cut through, pick up the gem, make their way through this middle line. And there is no buyback on Gyro, no buyback on Night Stalker, and none over on the Faceless.
I love DOTA because I'm like, wow, that's such an amazing chrono. We're watching the highlight, the replay. I'm getting all giddy for, you know, the PSG comeback style. And then we leave the highlight into them at the high ground, dying. And Gyrocopter doesn't have buyback for like another minute, so...
I mean, it's DOTA 2. Anyone can still, anyone can still throw.
I was like, this is the comeback, the storyline, and nope, Beastcoast instantly killed the over-aggression of PSG and get themselves a mega creep. So
Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has
644 right now, I think, when we do the math.
Radiant's middle tower
You can
is
even
under
show his
attack.
for the second he shows.
Radiant structures are fortified.
He sounds surprised. You're my analyst. You're supposed to be like, yes, I love this game. Didn't you watch?
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And then we leave, and they're just
Radiant's
at the
middle
tier 3
tower is
instantly
under attack.
getting, you know, whispered out of the
Looking
game.
for this opening.
Radiant's middle
They've
tower
already
has
put the
fallen.
loads out the BKB. They're going to try to jump over here onto Scout. The jump forward again coming out of the rocket shot.
Radiant's
They're going to
Ancient
wipe them off
is
the side,
under
and they
attack.
won't be able to. It's going to be a couple zips forward here coming out from me. This is still looking like it's going to be the end of the game.
Radiant's
On to the
Ancient
side.
is
Chris
under
Luck is still
attack.
over here hitting the building. Whisper
Dire
gets a little
victory.
distracted, but that is it. Beastcoast will take game number 1.
Yeah, all right. That could have easily gone either way. I legit that mid fight with that excellent chrono, the aggression of Arme, I was like, damn, this is good. This is good stuff. Beastcoast, they've been, you know, picked apart here. They're gonna have to buy back, reset the game. So they just run it down mid. One of the best tactics in Dota 2. Run it down mid.
Run it down mid.
And aside from that, the weird end to that game, I think Beastcoast, they really did punish PSG because so many times.
Radiant team ban.
Expect them to have more experience.
They're just having a good time. Themselves, it shows through the game. Both teams played some really good team fights, but they were also both sloppy. Like, we can all say that PSG kind of threw and didn't respect the buybacks, but at the same time, then we can say that Beastcoast kind of threw by going on Gyro mid, right?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
it's
10
just like
seconds
it's a back
remaining.
and forth, right? It just felt like they're both getting into the groove,
5
and game
seconds
2 will
remaining.
be very telling.
Yeah.
So let's
What?
I don't think they are aware.
Somebody tell
I like, well, Faith Beyond did it first.
Somebody tell them.
Hey, if I'm personally down to rock a belly shirt if that's in.
No, he's not rocking a belly shirt. He is just holding it up.
It's all good. It's all good.
I don't think that.
That's comfort. You got a W.
Everyone is beautiful, and so is he, and let's not body shame him.
That's also, I
PSG.LGD's
believe,
turn to
Peter
ban.
is, of course, their coach. Only fairly recent, I believe, and he's helping
Papa
the guys
Pepita.
out.
I'm a big fan. Talked with him a bunch at a couple of majors and TIs past. One of the few players who,
10 seconds remaining.
you know, I'm trying to think
Radiant
of
team pick.
another example, but he just grinds. Like, that guy has been trying so hard all the way from TI5, TI6. Back when we had first started playing, he was one of the guys that always had a team, was always scrimming, and he just had troubles, you know, finding a team that would stick together. And it's something that, again, there's flaws in the DPC system, but it certainly promotes roster stability. And good to see that he's on a squad lending his expertise, and there it is.
The keeper of the light.
Look at that respect they gave Schofield's Earth Spirit.
Truth.
First one, he really did a great job.
10
This Keeper of the
seconds
Light,
remaining.
I think, is going to be a highly contested hero this tournament, just because we've seen yesterday how
5
much he can do in
seconds
terms
remaining.
of wave clear, in terms of even flexibility for some
Yeah.
teams like Tundra, in terms of
Radiant
damage output,
team
how
back.
fast he can farm, and the utility he provides to teamfights. He just seems so much stronger.
PSG.LGD's turn
And they
to
just go
ban.
straight up Nick Assassin Slark, though, so I feel like you almost have to relegate it to a support position, unfortunately, just because of
course.
how devastating Nick's carapace is to your gameplay.
And Nick should be very good at catching this Scuttle.
We've also, well, we've not seen it here on this stream,
10
but there has
seconds
also been
remaining.
a call offlane by Collapse on Team Spirit. So the flexibility definitely there,
5
and the
seconds
damage
remaining.
output is, of course, incredible. We see the Phantom Lancer being picked up straight away. We saw that being banned in the second ban phase by PSG.LGD in the previous game.
Look at them, they're just laughing.
They're just chilling.
They have a really good time. This
They
is why
have a
I'm
really
big
nice
fan of
pajama
this team.
pants. I feel like my vesty thing matches a little bit.
That is
Something about PSG is that they just have so much fun with the draft.
Yeah.
They're always giggling. They're always like, haha, guys, let's try this. And they're all excited about it. It's just a lot of fun to watch that unfold.
I think it's part of why they've been so dominant, right? It's more a mental game than anything
Radiant
else.
team
Like,
back.
you ask any pro player, any streamer, and really anybody who knows Dota, the more tilted you are, the less likely you are to win games.
For
PSG.LGD's
most
turn
people.
to ban.
So
There are some people for who that is the opposite.
I mean, maybe for the pinball wizards amongst us, but
No. I remember
Radiant
DAC
team back.
Sumail. He loses
tell.
his lane. He loses his lane. He gets, like, his angry is him performing better. There's not that many players that have that for sure. That, like, when things are going wrong, they get worse generally. But I think
10
Sumail's one of the
seconds
few
remaining.
ones that when things are going bad, he's like, okay,
well, yeah, but
now
I
I
mean,
really got to step it up.
5
he's
seconds
the Michael
remaining.
Jordan of Dota.
Sure.
Like, yeah, obviously the best player in the world has unique advantages. And why are you guys giggling?
No.
I'm not
go on.
giggling. I'm doing
No,
my
I'm
work.
sorry. I'm sorry, continue.
Just
PSG.LGD's
get back into
turn
the
to
draft, the second
ban.
phase bans. I like to see the Beastcoast kind of iterating a little bit. We saw this from Virtus Pro in the previous series. The first pick, huge disadvantage, but what can you do? Take your carry in the first phase and then tailor your bans to cover it. They're going to do just that, removing
10
the Leshrac,
seconds
the Sand
remaining.
King, and the Timber, arguably three of the best anti-PL heroes. in the game.
I do
PSG.LGD's
count
turn
the, I
to
think
pick.
Slark does very well against PL. If his team has a lead and he just itemizes correctly, he can make it very difficult for this hero. But it also goes both ways, right? PL has a very good lead and a good team, can make it hard on Slark. But Slark's a hero that's gone up in popularity, I think, due to a lot of other carry
10
heroes going down
seconds
in
remaining.
popularity. But also he can build Mage Slayer, which is
Yep.
a really good item.
5 seconds
Really
Especially
remaining.
for him, and he can build the new Silver Edge as well if that's what he wants to do. So there's a lot of item
Radiant
flexibility for
team
Slark
pick.
in this meta, which I think correlates to why he's being picked up a lot more.
Hey, there's the shaker.
Okay, that is troubling to me. Now, I like that a lot against Puck, but theoretically, this is going to have to be in the Slark lane. And yeah, you can pull creeps, but you're really not going to apply much
10
pressure.
seconds
And
remaining.
I hate playing Earthshaker into Slark. If he finds you, he's going to be hunting
5
supports in the back
seconds
line.
remaining.
You can't really CC him. And God forbid he gets a Q off before you echo. Like, it's really tough to initiate and play against him. It's a very annoying matchup.
But I mean, a good shaker can find the initiations on even heroes like Slark and Puck, but a good Slark shouldn't be caught by
Yeah.
a shaker, right? So it's just the Coddle of Shaker combo is actually very powerful. Like the CDR and all the spells is really nice. The extra mana is really nice. These two supports together combo well. So if you pair up the shaker with a Coddle, he actually has much more presence around the map because he's more ready. And of course, in the sense that he is a hero who can catch Puck. But will he be able to?
PSG.LGD.
And now increase significantly the value of Sanj and status resistance, as well as BKB. And PSG, they have the second pick this time. So now you've revealed a lot in your lineup. Theoretically, could be Void Spirit offlane, much more likely that it goes mid for Chris Luck.
10
PL's your carry.
seconds remaining.
So PSG.LGD, you see the lanes. What would you like to do?
But I like Void Spirit
5
here
seconds
because we saw
remaining.
yesterday how Tundra's 9 on Void Spirit was able to keep catching out that Slark.
That's
And
true. That's true.
It's not something that you consider really because if Slark leashes the Void Spirit, you know, he's also in a bad position, but he's got that AoE disable that you can cast on a Shadow Dance Slark, so that's very helpful. He's not one of the worst heroes in catching Slark, right? So I understand the pick here.
For that reason, I wouldn't mind a save support for PSG.LGD. Any kind of offensive dispel or even just increasing the tankability of your Slark so that he isn't just caught if he makes that one mistake, which theoretically will happen at some point against all this lockdown. So
I must say, PSG.LGD's draft so far is looking surprisingly normal for their opening series.
I think that Slark is a bit of an abnormality because it's not really something I've seen Ahmed,
10
but
seconds
he probably
remaining.
does. There's no carry player in the world who just hasn't.
Yeah,
It's
and
great. So he just needs to shake off the
5
rest a little
seconds
bit
remaining.
and bust it out.
they definitely have a high emphasis on like Slark and its place in the meta. When you consider they opened with a ban on Bloodseeker, previous game they opened with a ban on Slark, and then Bloodseeker was banned later. So there's a solid understanding of these heroes, and I know I'm certainly a Bloodseeker player. So they just probably consider this one of, if not the best carries on the patch right now. And I tend to agree just because of how the changes to items almost all seem to benefit Slark. Don't forget, Diffusal Echo Saber, also very strong item still, and he loves both.
They're also taking it away from Beastcoast, who do play it very well on 2 of their players. And I want to talk about Phoenix a little bit, just
10
because we didn't really
seconds
get into
remaining.
it. But you said save support. He obviously is one, not the best one, but his Sunray can
5
be very useful.
seconds remaining.
And if Shaker goes in, he can just counter initiate back in with his Eye and soak up some of that attention from the
PSG.LGD's
enemy
turn to
heroes.
ban.
So he is pretty reactive in a positive way this game, I would say.
Nice synergy with the Nyx Assassin too. You already have plenty of control.
Right, but also there aren't really any egg killers so far, so this is they need to pick one for their last pick for sure.
And it also kind
10
of
seconds remaining.
wins the game on the Agadim's timing with Puck. You consider that
5
right now,
seconds
Beastcoast,
remaining.
you don't have anything that pierces BKB. Well, an Agadim's coil and an
Radiant
egg,
team
there's nothing
picked.
you can buy to deal with that. You know, if you can't kill the egg,
Right.
you're just locked down through BKB, then stunned again through BKB, and in that time, Slark is eating you alive. So it will be a tough game for Beastcoast if they cannot stay ahead of the action.
PSG.LGD.
Silencer. Some kind of egg hitter.
Choose your hero.
Don't take a silencer.
I guess a ranged hero, two ranged heroes can't hit the egg together. It's not the worst.
Is it
Kinda like it.
off-lane Coddle?
Let's take a look who is playing what. We have the Keep of Light not yet picked up, but we know Void Spirit is being played by Chrislock.
They're still thinking about it.
It will be an off-lane Lycan.
I love that. It's not a fantastic matchup in theory, but you're going to get an HOD. Man, this lineup from PSG, just terrifying. It is the off-lane Coddle. We're going to see something a bit weird. Great synergy with the Shaker that you mentioned, Effie. You can get lane control, you can pull the creep wave, but more importantly, you just secure the offlane, and that means
also-
blasts.
Also, you can TP once Lycan starts to put pressure on the safe lane tower. You can TP the Coddle and just defend it. And Coddle is one of the best heroes versus any typical kind of zoo hero, right? So I really like what Beastcoast did with their draft here. But I will say that PSG.LGD's draft has insane team fight, and I think if they find their opportunities and they pick their fights correctly, Beastcoast don't have the best means to team fight into them.
I would agree. I think their draft's just very squishy and exploitable. Like Coddle, Silencer, Earthshaker, all these heroes just feed. And you're playing against a ton of lockdown, and Slark Lycan are just terrifying to me on this patch. You've got both of them on PSG.LGD. They're going to buy these super value items, you know, HOD Vlads. You're going to have like an Echo Saber, Mage Slayer on the Slark. They're going to be really tanky. They're going to have creep armies, and it's going to be Coil Egg. Everybody dead.
Yeah. With that being said, I can see Coddle having a great game or having an awful game.
Yeah.
Right, depending on the Coddle player
Feast or
and
famine.
how well he gets caught out. So
All right.
a lot of this rests on Coddle's ability to defend without dying to the Nyx.
All right, let's see. All eyes on Whisper. Indeed, it is the Coddle against the traditional counter of the Nyx Assassin, so we'll see how that will play out for them. Hey, but it worked first game round. That means they did end up with the W. Will they do so again, or will they split the series? PSG.LGD, we're handing over to T and Moxie for the answer.
Well, we get the return of Kundalini this time, though, in that off-lane position. But of course, in the other off-lane, we have Vipian, and he's playing Lycan. And this hero has been absolutely nasty recently.
Like the last pick Lycan as well. It's like the surprise, this hero is still here. The item hasn't actually been changed. But, you know, like they mentioned on the panel, there are ways for them to deal with the Lycan, but it's not going to be like the most comfortable experience, right? Like they're going to be able, like their defense is keep her like pushing out the lane before the Lycan gets there. But if PSG choose to actually take a fight before, like, Earthshaker has a Blink Dagger, PL has, like, Manta Diffusal, like, Heart, that is just going to be PSG running them over. So it's going to be a little bit more interesting from Beastcoast this game, where, unlike in that previous game where they could farm a little bit, smoke, and then punish PSG, they're the ones going to be playing very reactively. You know, push out the waves, bide their time, wait to have a couple items, then they're going to hit their stride and start punishing that over-aggression that we saw in that previous game from PSG.
Absolutely even odds here. You notice that?
Yeah, I'm just trying to work out what's this.
30 seconds
Oh,
to
he
battle.
tried. I mean, that is the most ambitious Lighten play I have ever seen. To send 2 wolves that, you know, again, they're not invisible, just up into the high ground. Fair play.
I like how Sko just walked his career over and just
Yeah,
stepped in.
but
He's like, seem weirder.
Yeah,
That's
it's dying.
so we've seen some weird stuff in our box. But yeah, no, it's very interesting because you do have some nice lockdown coming out from the side of PSG.LGD, and it's a little light.
The same idea. I'm a bit worried about the value of an earned vessel style build going into heroes, you know, like Slark, like Park, like Phoenix. So it's going to be interesting to see how the instant value is, and maybe if there's a different style to play with it. But, you know, he's going to stick to his guns potentially if he goes with that quick buy. And Slark's not going to have fun in this lane when Keeper Light gets to level 3 or level 4.
Well, this is fairly interesting because, you know, again, we talk a lot about positioning, and a Keeper of the Light generally, you know, he can put out that damage, but also if they can close the gap on him, he suffers quite a bit, and that is something that Slark's quite good at. But on the flip side, they have this insurance policy coming out from Schofield, who's going to be able to be in position with those fissures. So, over in the middle lane,
And now,
Chris Luck gets the better of him this time around.
Again, I must say, Beastcoast very diplomatic on their tips. They're tipping each other. They're never aggressive tipping. The entire previous game.
You haven't seen them in pubs, dude.
Well, I mean, in professional, they're PMA through the roof. They're like, you know what, Chris Luck, great job. That could have been a devastating aggressive tip there, but again, Beastcoast changing up the tip meta for sure. But, you know, we cannot ignore the fact that Zhao Wei did actually go a little bit under target, tanking the aggro twice. 3 times? 4 times? Wow, that's, yeah. Again, we have to just accept the fact that exactly, you know, this is, you know, the coach playing, standing in, not, you know, the mid lane players, but that's unfortunate. Chris Luck will be very happy here, and Void Spirit is the better matchup for Puck. When you think about Puck counters in the mid lane, it's the Tiny, it's the Conqueror, it's the Void Spirit. These kind of heroes that have that ability to push out the lane and just annoy Puck having to play off of her spells.
Which is pretty interesting because I remember when the Void Spirit came out, that was one of the few heroes that could deal with it after the laning phase. But
again, it's like one of those 50-50s as well, right? Like in the laning phase, the Void Spirit will have fun, but into the game, that value of the coil against the Void Spirit, against the PL, once you lock down that real hero, it will then layer in the damage from, you know, the Phoenix, the Nyx, the Slark to come in on top. So even if the lane goes quite poorly, Zhao Wei does have a very, you know, clean entry into the game because just coil the core, you know, put on damage on top and have fun.
Q has to be very careful here. It's just, he's dead.
Like, this is such an obnoxious...
This is scary for the Slark as well.
Like, this is why Keeper Light, in theory, is such an annoying hero, because, again, they reduce the time in which you have to channel to get to the maximum damage. So if it's in mid lane, if it's in the side lane, like, mid and carries don't want to play into this, but a little bit of overvision there, great pounce, gets the kill on Whisper. Like, if he doesn't get a kill here, it's going to be a miserable time, but he connects that pounce. Potentially, you know, he's going to get a double kill here if Schofield isn't juke. Oh, well, he's juking.
He's Schofield, dude.
I'm sorry for doubting him.
He's Schofield. This guy is always, you know, the one who breaks the smokes, tanks the ganks, like his positioning, and he always makes them really work for it. Not to say that they wouldn't have been able to, because they definitely could have, but he's known for being an escape artist. I watched him buy a jetpack once. Oh, hold that thought. Endor sitting a little low here. They can immediately turn back around, punishy. But yeah, I watched this guy buy a jetpack in someone else's base and fly his way to safety on a clockwork.
Yeah, that's some good stuff. I love the aggressive item purchases that then allow you to escape. That's the best usage of the enemy fountain.
Also, jetpack's just hilarious, let's be really honest.
Unfortunately, Clock's not really picked anymore. Well, I don't think we've seen it so far in at least this tournament.
We saw it.
Have we?
Yes, we have.
Radiant structures are fortified.
That's more clear. Yeah. I'm gonna see what game that was.
Yeah, take a look. It was very well done, actually, because he was able to separate a lot of the fights very convincingly.
Silence!
Oh yeah, 9 now is good. Yeah, okay, well, I've seen it. Yeah.
Chris Luck getting the taunt off over here, but should be able to bottle up that
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
green-eyed.
Actually having great fun. I thought it'd be a little bit annoying, but I guess because he's got just more regen, he's accepted that the keeper will be spamming him out of lane. If you have more regen, you can just heal up in the trees, then come back. I think the main thing is when we saw the start of core coddles, people weren't really ready for it.
Hector?
Pretty low.
Okay. Hector was sitting very low in that bottom lane for like half a second there. He kept pushing the limit, so I wasn't sure if FaithBM was going to be able to take advantage of that. How do you slow down this Lycan from getting this this wonderful new item?
Realistically, you're not slowing him down, you're ensuring that your cores are keeping up.
Okay.
Like Phantom Lancer, he wants to be able to then rotate to the jungle when the Lycan looks for the tower. As Earthshaker might die here, should die here, unless he breaks the line. Yeah, I was gonna say he'd have to be, some miracle worker to get out of that one. But no, back to your point about the Lycan, it's the idea that when Lycan has the Dominator and is looking at your tower, the Keep Strike rotates in, the Lycan, the PL then moves to jungle or another lane, and you're just moving around your cores to deal with the push. It's the same concept of like playing against old patch Broodmother. Like in lane, you want to try and bully, and then as soon as he gets to like that 6 or when that kind of pushing power, you have a hero that can make that play. So this is where the keeper, like that will be his job, just to move on down and protect the tower for as long as possible.
A bit of the signs being chopped off here on Crysluck. Does have a couple bottle charges left, sitting a bit low on that mana. And they are rotating quite a few heroes over here towards this mid lane, trying to secure up runes. It is indeed bottom. Schofield has just found it out and will wait for his core to come grab it.
Dire's middle tower
change
is
up
under attack.
In the previous game, it was Beastcoast who made the first move, right? And then this game, PSG then bringing in the supports early just to protect Zhao 8 for a little bit longer.
Dire's
They
top
actually
tower
opted
is under
to
attack.
give the Invis rune over here. Whisper though, top lane is getting punished pretty badly by this tri lane, so he is going to end up dead.
They're trying to make a move onto FaithBM bottom with the Invis Earthshaker.
He's trying to get some of these body blocks off FaithBM though.
It's not going to happen.
I'm not sure if they just decided, maybe not worth it, let's let Hector just farm, but they have the sentry, that's it.
Yeah, and they also didn't really have the resources because Thanos had no mana. They couldn't then apply the slow, and also, Lycan, this build, he's already got the Dominator. Like offlaners, you don't really start with items, you then instantly buy the Helmet Dom, have that additional armor and regen, and you're living the dream. It's why this build is so broken. It's because the build up as an offlaner, you can start with already like one of the components within the first 2 minutes of the game. Like you're not being punished by having to buy, a ring of protection, a quelling blade, regen, then start buying. Like you instantly start investing into this item from minute 0 until when you complete it, minute 14, 15.
Ooh, Crysluck is getting hunted though. Looks like they should be able to get the final hit off, and that is a kill for Zhao 8. Stinger also getting bullied now by quite a few creatures coming out from the side of PSG.LGD. Whisper making his own rotation, not quite enough damage to put out onto Zhao 8. They'll end up using the Dream Coil, try to hold it into place a little bit longer, but the Illuminate coming in will be able to take out Puck.
So much damage.
It's silly to think about how much damage you can do this early.
He wound that up for like not even a second, and Puck's like, oh well, sorry, I'm dead. It does help that as well that the Puck doesn't actually have any points in phase shift.
Yes.
But playing into the Void Spirit, you just want to be able to push out lanes with the changes of the damage. You kind of need to probably put those points into other spells.
Dire's middle
He's used
tower
to a
is under
ganking
attack.
coddle though too, right?
Zooming on it, yeah.
He's in Q, he's stunned up. Needs one more hit there, and Crysluck will get his revenge.
This is a nice recovery from Beastcoast because initially
Okay, that's a good kill here for Almec.
like the supports from PSG have just been running around the map right now. Like you see top lane enabling the Slark, then instantly move bottom to cover the Lycan. Like they are making so many moves. Beastcoast have to start killing this or he's punishing these supports.
Yeah, you already having used that spike character. Even though he's going to try to run down Whisper here, and he's not looking too great because he needs some more help. He does have the Illuminate though, breaking some ankles, turning right back around again. He's very, very fast in this wolf form, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite fast enough. Spirit Lance comes in, not quite enough damage. Zhao 8 is rejoined now, and they do have all these creeps that are chasing after Whisper. He tries to use the blinding light, and it's a highway chase here. He's trying to use some of the spark. He's actually going to make it out alive. All right, because they've got a new target now. Crysluck joining in. Q putting out some damage, but it's a whole lot of things happening for not a whole heck of a lot. Oh, well, this could be very big here for PSG.LGD. They'll leash up Phantom Lancer. He doesn't have the mana to be able to run away here, especially not with that Dream Coil being attached to him as well. So Down he goes.
That's early on the value of Keeper Light. When you pop the ultimate with your Illuminate, you're then obtaining the heal. Doesn't matter if it's day or night. And you have the Blinding Light to deal with the creep. So he's able to
Dire's
barely
middle tower
survive.
is under
But as a
attack.
consequence of that, the PL
Radiant
gets a little bit comfortable.
structures
Like,
are fortified.
my Keeper Light's cutting them all. I'll go fuck. No, bam. Jiawei instantly TPs in, coils, and gets the kill. So now Slark is at 4.5k net worth to the 3.9
Radiant's
of PL,
bottom
and that's just the
tower is
disparity
under
of how
attack.
he's been left alone farming, while
Dire's
PL he's
top
under that
tower
constant
is under
pressure
attack.
and poke and prod right now from PSG.
I think this is a good solution here for PSG.LGD because they want to be aggressive. They
Radiant
don't want to allow
are
extra
scanning.
time to farm.
Yep.
And of course, when you're playing Slark, you want to
Dire's
make sure
top
that
tower
you
is
are
under
in the
attack.
lead. You don't want to start to fall behind. Let me try to turn this back around though. Stingers here, a couple clicks to see E mix his own rotation. But they're going to back off after that.
Radiant's
Just go
bottom
right
tower
back
is
to
under
getting these
attack.
items online.
That's the
Dire's
key thing.
top tower
PSG, they're
has
probably going to
fallen.
all buy that kind of one active fighting item and then look to play with the Lycan, because going into a later portion of the game, when the PL can stand his ground, like if he gets coiled and he's got like the Skadi, the Manta, and all these kind of like the butterfly, if he can just stand still and A-click and spawn the illusions, he's not going to care about this single coil. But right now, this is the big window where PL hates playing Dota. You know, you get coiled, you get pounced. Slark is really good against PL early on because you'll connect onto the real PL, be able to lock him down. He can't then doppel from that, and you're going to get instant kills. It's why you see Arme leaving the top lane early on. He trades his tower just to be able to
Radiant's
start applying
bottom
some more
tower
pressure on
is
the
under
PL. And,
attack.
like, it's delay this PL's timing by 5-10 minutes early on. It will give your team so much more room to play into the game.
And they're definitely applying this pressure. Schofield making his way bottom. Does have the Echo Slam. They decide to try to fight. It's taking too much damage though. Right off the bat, there it is. The Echo Slam comes out. He's trying to buy a little bit more
Radiant's
time.
bottom
And
tower
he's going to
is
get
under
leashed up
attack.
though. No breaking ankles. Not this time.
Again, Beastcoast support, unlike in that previous game where they were so excellent moving around the map, getting plays and kills together, they're really struggling. They feel like they're reacting quite a lot to PSG and also kind of just not being in the right place at the right time. And it's going to need a little bit of time. Like this Earthshaker in theory is
Dire's
very good
middle
against
tower is
Slark
under attack.
or Puck, right? These hard
Dire
elusive
are
heroes,
scanning.
you commit that slam, you get the kill, then you have the
Dire's
advantage of numbers, you
structures
go
are
for next.
fortified.
But when both are in the game,
Radiant's
you
bottom
have to have
tower
like
is
the
under
best
attack.
value slam in your life, or you get both
Dire's
of them,
middle tower
or you have
is
to
under
hope that you
attack.
have enough stuns after killing this elusive hero to kill after. So yeah, PSG just drafting nicely to punish
Radiant's
this Earthshaker
bottom
pick, which
tower
in
has
theory
been
could have had a
denied.
nice place in the game.
So we talk about a lot of these items that are going to be activating for the side of PSG.LGD because you know they're getting a nice start. So it's going to be the Blink Dagger for the Puck, and then is the Slark already activated at this point? Like, is he gonna? Because he's already making these moves.
Oh yeah,
Dire's
so I think
bottom
as soon as he got
tower
the
is under
Echo Saber,
attack.
he can join with his team and just start, you know, fighting and poking. He's then going for a Shadow Blade to even further commit to that play. Like, we might have seen him go a bit more greedy, but that just allows PL to play the game. I think right now, before
Dire's
Manta
middle
defuse
tower
on
is
PL,
under
you
attack.
can just leash onto him and you can force the 1v1.
They're already running away. They have the leash, they have the egg, they have the silence. There's only so much that Westbrook can really do. They do get the blinding lineup, but it's still going to be a kill for Zhao 8. The egg pops up over on the back line. Chris Luck joining into the fight now, hoping that maybe he can get a grab over onto E or
Dire's
someone.
middle tower
Silence
is
getting
under
thrown out
attack.
over onto the Phoenix. He's going to fall. Chris Luck's courier though also gets taken down during the engagement as he is chasing after Faith Bien and E. Can he get anything done
Radiant
though? Nice and Pal
structures
coming
are
out for me will slow them down. They've got that whole zoo, the whole circus, the whole shebang, just trying to just buy some more time, buy some more space so they can retreat.
But yeah, PSG are going to be really happy with that. They traded
Radiant's middle
Phoenix's
tower
life
is under
just
attack.
to be able to kill the PL, and also Beastcoast use Global for that. Meanwhile, you've got the Lycan farming, Puck farming, like all the cores are farming, having a jolly good time. And you know, mention about these cheaper items. Zhao 8, he realizes, unlike, let's say if this was nothing to say right now, this might have been a quirkier build, a bit more kind of in your face, I will try and kill you and be annoying. But he's just going for the blink ags. He realizes this is that play that he commits here. That's all he needs to do in this game to get his team into it, right? Commit that coil onto the PL, onto the Void Spirit, layer it with an egg, and then, you know, you're good to go.
That's like a recipe, and then you layer the egg on top of your dream coil.
No, it's beautiful. It's a great dish, and
Clearly, it's a great dish.
I will be very clear. I honestly, you know how you didn't like Silencer, like the idea of Silencer. I hate Slark as a 5 player. There's nothing
Dire's
more
middle
beautiful
tower
than a
is
game
under
with
attack.
vision, dewarding, yada yada yada. It's great. But then Slark's in the game, and he just like completely deconstructs the idea of vision. You can never have these lingering wards, and yeah, it's it upsets me as a 5 player that's likely able to do this, but luckily it's only one hero in the game that has this like innate way of auto dewarding you. You could probably put Zeus in there too, but yeah.
I like that that's the reason you don't like Slark, because for me I don't like Slark because he can purge off like really expensive items and like that seems a bit...
That's true as well, but yeah.
It's gonna get found by ESL, of course, makes his own rotation, gets up a couple of hits.
Really nice move from the Knicks, and it's why it's so good against this keeper. Like you're always able to, you know, cut deep, and also where the tier 2's placed there, you're able to actually get behind the trees
Invisibility.
and, you know, find and have a little poke around and isolate that keeper light.
This does give you some information on the side
Radiant's
of Beastcoast, because you
bottom tower
just
is
saw
under
them
attack.
in the bottom lane, and they are smoked up. It's gonna be Chris Luck who runs into the puck, who has popped
Radiant
his
are
invis.
scanning.
Good reward from Stinger there.
Radiant's
Like, they have
bottom
to get
tower
some
is
D-wards
under
here, because
attack.
like, if you look at the minimap, they have no vision on Beastcoast. They are like victim to the Slark right now. And that ward's going to instantly get
Look at
as
it.
well. Yeah,
Immediately.
There are 0 wards right now for Radiant.
Here, beautiful egg, beautiful coil, plus the sets hold silence, holding him into place. You guys trying to focus on the egg. Can they do it faster? They do it. Oh, look at that slam. Beautiful takedown on Amphibia, now running for his life. They've already taken that hit. Can they get Chris Luck? It's not quite enough damage. Look at the illuminate. Can they do any more? As Jao jumps onto the back line. Cleanup crew, Chris Luck and Stinger both go down. The Bishop does connect, plus that extra burst. Now he's got the ship. Can they get a couple more hits up? Yes, they can. It's a mega kill streak eliminated. And now they've got a Cardi. They do have to deal with the dragon though.
And then the 6th man on PSG is still alive. That is the dragon. Get to push out the lane. But no, I was just talking about the lack of vision from Beastcoast, but when PSG are playing so close to the tower, you don't really need to have that because you're able to connect cleanly with your spells after. And then, yeah, you kind of get baited in a little bit here. The egg is, of course, very close, and you have the all the ranged heroes there, the silencer and the keeper light instantly target the egg. Ursha gets the walk in, the walking in slam, and yeah, they die. And this is where the value, I was worried about the value of the vessel, but if Whisper does just throw it onto the Lycan, just throws it onto the puck, it's just going to annoy them, especially with the puck build where you go straight for the blink, no defensive item. It's going to kind of disrupt their ability to play the game. And yeah, PSG just running into the trap of Beastcoast.
Nice little bit of a dodge here. They're going to go right back in, step forward, and there's a puck they'll happily take. Maybe they'll
Great.
Oh, smooth.
very smooth, very tidy, and they'll run into a little bit of that circus here, but
that's of course the Ags on Chris Luck with the DD. Just allows him to jump into these kind of messy engagements, but have that security of everyone being, you know, silenced. Yeah, the game's actually not going so bad with Beastcoast. That middle fight just kind of opened them up, and it's about buying time. Like if you look at the cores right now on PSG, the Lycan and the puck, they're playing very sacrificial because they're trying to get themselves into the game. Like Zhao is buying for his team. Lycan, of course, is doing the zoo stuff, but they're not really being able to take these towers because the one time they pushed, they ran straight on into the keeper light and the Earthshaker.
Sunray over on to Chris Luck. Again, they've already used their stun, so it's going to be able to walk away.
Coming back mid once more. And this is where the idea of the Helm of the Overlord is a little bit different on certain players, because like we saw in Tundra when 33 had it, he'd get the dragon but send it to the other side of the map. So it's like you fight us or you fight my creep. Here PSG, they're playing around the creep. You know, they're allowing the Slark to play elsewhere, and they are treating it like that 5th man within the team, or that 6th man, sorry. Which is, it's a different style, and maybe it could be the shortcoming of PSG where they don't have constant map pressure and it's more like they're focusing on one lane, which enables, you know, this keeper like this Earthshaker style draft where they thrive when it's one lane pressure, when they can sit together, cover each other and push out the lane. But when there's not multiple lanes coming in at once, they're going to be able to farm up, and you can see that when 3 of their cores are now sitting comfortably behind the Slark.
How concerned are you with the, again, it's not huge.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Right into E, dodging away.
They get coiled though.
Coiled up, the rest of the team not really close enough. I don't think they're going to be able to save him in time, although he's moving pretty quickly. The Echo Slam coming out here from Scope buys just enough time. Chris Luck jumping got to the back end. They want to just absolutely remove this puck from this fight. He's trying, but he's one more hit. He's still alive. They'll take the answer. They'll turn right back around again, get the kill over onto Chris Luck. Schofield now on the run, so is Stinger. They do not want to get shot down here by the Slark, but they are just running full force, full tilt at them. Jumping forward again, Zhao 8, he was sitting so low, but he's still alive, and he's able to help. And it looks like they're going to be able to get Stinger here. They just need a little bit more vision. Has a sub. Is actually going to be all right. They go for the egg, trying to find anyone that they can. Not going to be able to do it. The buyback now coming up from Sko. They want to try to punish Ame here. It's going to be hard for them to get their hands on him, though.
Radiant's top
Neochick
tower
could buy
is
back
under
in as well,
attack.
just trying to get a kill on the escape, but of course, you know, Slark being very elusive, doesn't really care too much about the fissure. Purges it off and runs away. Yeah, the start of that fight, it looked very, very close where they might have been able to kill off the PL. But then Beastcoast, they feel like they can maybe even, you know, take the fight when they have that, you know, counter initiation. But they didn't really have the layered damage, right? It was like a Earthshaker slamming one, Voice Brick going on someone else, then they connect up together.
Uh-oh, this Phoenix doesn't have the Icarus dive up for another couple of seconds. He's dead.
Damage.
So dead.
Again, Beastcoast, you know, they're tipping each other. Very wholesome.
Very awesome. Chris Luck spots himself a little fishy here, but it's a bit of a bait because there is a puck nearby. Whisper, though, joining into the fight here. He's going to try to use some of that binding. Knock back here, but Ame immediately purging back. Zhao Wei trying to keep him alive. Still got a couple seconds before he's going to be able to disengage. And they have E joining back in. They're thinking about going right in again. And you have to think that they have to know that that's a beautiful play from the Nyx assassin. Waiting patiently to pop that spike carapace and stun Chris Luck.
Yeah, like these pickoffs are so close because now you see from Keeper Light, the build that I mentioned before, he did actually go for it. He went for that vessel, went for the Orchid, so he's going to be able to kill the Slark if he wastes his Dark Pack. He can kill the puck if he blinks in and isn't ready. He doesn't have anything defensive, so it is good. Like that play bottom, it could have easily just been a dead Slark and Beastcoast capitalize on it, but
Radiant's
very,
top
very
tower
close
is
on the
under
Dark Pack
attack.
into the Orchid, and then of course in the counter plays and Innocence running on in and getting to use the good old carapace, because if he presses this button it's going to either stun the Keeper of Light or the Voice Brick, because it's pretty easy to hit these big AoE spells.
Definitely nice foresight in there, realizing that Chris Luck was going to get quite greedy.
Wait, Moxie, for the first time in Pro Dota, we might actually... Oh, no, it doesn't actually die. Forgive me, I'm wrong. He just spawned a new one. It's a great item.
What an item.
It's funny because like everyone always think it's going to be the Ancient that he's going to slap it on, but of course you can just put it on any creep. So you can just buff up anything. It's great.
I mean, we saw the Chad creep in the base the other day.
Radiant's
So much
bottom
health, so
tower
much
is under
damage.
I mean,
attack.
teams could lean into it a bit more, you know. Invoker could buy it for Alacrity. You could get the Ogre Bloodlust on it. You know, there's so many more ways that you can get this creep into the game. Like, 6-man rosters were shortly used during DPC. This is the next evolution. Just get everything and pump it on it. Go.
Hold that thought as a Stinger. It's going to draw the silence and turn back around. They take out Zincu. There's not going to be any egg available this time around. FBN also running now forward by the Stinger. It's getting munched away though. Follow beautiful Dream Coil. Puck's going to be able to pick off Stinger. And over on the side here, this is not looking great for Chris Luck. He's going to have to buy a bit more time. They have the Spirit Vessel though. The stun, it's looking nice, but they follow up again. It'll take down E. And it looks like they'll use the echo just to make sure they can take down Ame.
Yeah, this is now the benefit, the true perk of having the Earthshaker, right? It's like when he finds a hero, you're gonna get stunned, you're gonna die, and maybe like you could argue Aeon Disc might be needed. Yeah, there's so much presence on the map. Like Keeper Light, you run around so quickly, and this build,
Dire's
different
middle
from what we've seen
tower
from
is
other
under
core
attack.
Keeper Lights. He now goes to the Blink. He's now an assassin. Like it. This is devastating. He might even
Unlike the geriatric assassin.
but like, if he goes for, I think he had Hex in his quick buy, like he goes for a Hex,
my God.
he could then go for, you know, the shard after, and then suddenly he's going to be bringing this PL around the map, doing whatever he wants, and really punishing PSG.
Is Whisper the only one who's been running this particular build? Or is this like a common puck build?
In regards to the core, I've seen it more, I mean, it's literally since yesterday that people really kind of subscribed to the idea.
I don't know, there were a lot of people on Twitter that were saying, that was my idea.
There's a lot of people, I mean, we were playing it in unranked, I won't lie, about 2 months ago, so maybe the unranked scene in Europe was the true believer. No, but I can check now for you if you'd like.
Thank you, I would enjoy a cheeky stat.
You know, I'll scroll back and see who was the first person. Ooh.
Unrefutable
Radiant
proof. Do
are
we have it?
scanning.
Ooh. I mean, so since the new patch,
Dire's top tower is
Skem
under
was the
attack.
first one to play it.
Okay.
Radiant's
And
middle
then
tower is
it
under
was
attack.
Zai played
Radiant
it.
structures are
And is it
fortified.
Yang
always,
played it. I mean, everyone
is it always
played
this
it.
build though? Is it always the Orchid
No, so we got.
vessel? Because I know the Dagon is the popular one.
Dire's top
Yeah,
tower
Dagon's the
is
most
under
popular.
attack.
Everyone else is going for like some E-Blade boring stuff. But it's
Radiant's
basically
middle
Dagon.
tower
Most of the
has
core
fallen.
players who I see
Dire's top
playing it
tower
are
has
doing
fallen.
the 9 build we saw yesterday, which is the Dagon. But this is the
Whisper?
first version of Vessel Orchid.
Doesn't quite have the
Radiant's
vision
bottom
here because we do
tower
have the
is
Shadow
under
Blade
attack.
online for Slark. But yeah, I think it's really interesting how you start to see, you know, certain trends manifesting themselves in different regions, but with different
Radiant's
items.
middle tower is
I
under
think that
attack.
is actually really cool about Dota.
I think that's the mark of a player who's trying to at least innovate and understand, right? Because you see a play, let's say like the Winter Wyvern, right? Like,
Sco? Why Sco that far up?
maybe he was trying to, you know, eat through his buyback.
Perhaps we have the global silence, but perhaps they can turn this back around over to Ame. But Whisper has to be careful, it's way too much damage. He can't get that center, but they do manage to kill Ame after Whisper passes here, and they have too much lockdown. This is definitely going to be a dead K1.
Get up if
Oh,
you can.
you see K1's items as well. I thought he was going to go for a heart and just be like tanky in the fight, but no, he's just gone, no. Let's just go straight for the Abyssal. Okay, whew. That, I've not seen this build before where you go 2 items into Abyssal Blade. Maybe in previous patches we had that range to connect on, but okay.
Let me tell you a story of something called SA Dota T.
Oh, please. I have a tea here. I can sit back and listen to that fine story.
Maybe another time. Maybe next time we're gathered around the campfire.
Yeah.
You know, I will spin you a yarn of the SA Dota and how they do things a bit differently. But yeah, starts off and Whisper he never wants to be that close to literally everyone. So it's a very expensive fight.
You can see how this fight, it will bode well for Beastcoast in the future, because Stinger, as he's about to die, he gets off the ultimate when Slark doesn't have Dark Pack.
Right.
And he doesn't have that defensive item. So you get to see the trade of PL killing Slark. And right now, Slark, he's looking for the Skadi, and that is going to be still a big window for, you know, this Abyssal Blade style of build from PL, because if he's itemizing for kind of existing within the fight, when you get that clean initiation of the global into slam into PL lockdown of Abyssal, you are going to be able to 100-0 these elusive heroes, the Puck, the Lycan, the Slark. So I like the fact that they have identified on Beastcoast, they don't have stuns. They're buying a Hex, they're buying the Abyssal, they're playing for the game and not for like their, like we were mentioning earlier, what's like the normal thing to do. It's like, because earlier we could have been mentioning, oh, the PL needs to buy a heart or a Skadi, but no, they're playing for the game that they're in right now.
Invisibility.
And that's, it's interesting stuff.
Makes sense for sure. I hope that, you know, in the future, we're seeing a lot of these heroes kind of getting a nice little facelift and some pretty changes and whatnot.
Are we on about Morphling model now, or?
Radiant's
No, I hope
bottom
they
tower
never
is under
change the
attack.
Derpy Dragon. I hope that is just a legacy that will always happen. They're going to try to just take down this ancient creep very quickly. They're trying to get the final hits
Radiant's
off, and
bottom
they're
tower
able to
has
do
fallen.
it. But they will end up losing creep.
You just lost the tower to a creep.
Uh-oh, Ector, this is way the team is there with a nice stun. They fall with the Echo Slam. It's beautiful. They take that E, they take that Ame. I don't think they were ready for that at all.
Oh.
I don't even think I was ready for that.
No, I saw the Nyx and I was like, all right, maybe Nyx is going to get picked off here. Then Slark just goes, whoop, I'm in too, and dies as well. Yeah, I'm loving the Shaker right now. I'm loving the combination of Silencer and Shaker. I think the fact that they were able to survive through what PSG's draft wanted to do early on, they're now kind of in the fun part of Dota where, you know, you have the vision, you connect your big spells, and you're going to be able to make the plays. And you can even question, Slark's going to have to think about BKB soon, because when you see K1 dodge there, like, of course, this is like perfect CC, where it's global into instant fissure. Like, even if you had a BKB, you're going to be dying in that position, but maybe playing less pick-off orientated could enable PSG more into
Radiant's middle
PSG
tower
to
is
have
under
any
attack.
of these moments. Like, whenever they're farming aggressively on Beastcoast, the heroes are right behind them. They're ready. Like, if K1 even got stunned there, you're gonna see these spells come into play.
Radiant's
So,
middle tower
yeah,
has
PSG
fallen.
there. Not really, I guess, respecting how ready Beastcoast are to fight at any minute.
They're definitely
Radiant
showing
are
up
scanning.
today with these very clean pickoffs that they've got. I mean, it's always fun whenever you're starting to see, you know, heroes like Sand King, Shaker, stuff like that start to get picked up, especially right near TI time, right?
I mean, Shaker's like, literally, like, it's Shaker, Enigma.
Sometimes Faceless Void.
Sometimes. Actually,
Not always.
I think, you know, Void's one of the better ones because you miss a lot of Chronos as well. It's kind of like
a collective groan.
Yeah. And also, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think Shaker's the best though, because it's also the hardest one when you think about an arena with the base of the slam.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's skin tingling.
All right, well. It's
Dire's
interesting too to
top
note
tower
that
is under
Whisper at one point he
attack.
was looking at that Dagon. He was considering it, ends up going for the Ooh, this bird needs to be careful. Hector's just chasing after him in his own base. There's no place safe for
Dire's
the
top
cube.
tower
He
is
just
under
dashed.
attack.
And he's on the buyback. He's dead for 50.
Okay. Trying to be a little cheeky here.
But this is an age of
Dire's
PL. Like,
top
Slark does
towers
not
are
enjoy
fortified.
playing into,
Dire's
first of all,
top
PL,
tower
and
is under
second of all,
attack.
an age of PL, surprisingly enough. It's a weird concept, but yeah, now K1, with the Abyssal Blade, he can do whatever he wants. And when you're backed up by the Keeper Light, like, look at this, really, he's stunned
Right,
and
again.
healed up as well. Like, this is pretty troublesome, and that's why you see PSG
Radiant's
pushing in the
bottom
bot lane.
tower has
They
fallen.
take the tower. They're going to try to make enough moves here over on Spickman. He's so speedy, though. They'll knock him back. Can they get enough damage? He's silenced. A couple more hits here. Should be able to do this. He's just so damn fast, though. Can they get their hands on this measly pup? And they just cannot do it. He's too quick. Spear Vesson, though, is ticking him down. Is he going to... Yeah, he's going to try to lifesteal off and get himself some nice treats as
Okay.
a thing. And then also Schofield gets picked off to the side. PSG.LGD realizing that he is very much alone.
That's really good though from PSG because they're able to, you know, barely survive on the Lycan bot, instantly then try and find a pick. And I'm excited. We got the Ags Lycan, which means, of course, with the wolf bite, he can put that on his Slark, and then both of them
There's
get to
the
run around.
old-fashioned wolf fish.
It's gonna be good. The wolf fish running around. Yeah, which is simply, it's going to make it even harder to lock them down. Here, by himself.
That hurts.
Yeah, I've not seen the Lycan Ags in some time, so yeah, it'll be exciting to see if it pays off. But Slark does need to start playing with his team a little bit more, and ideally, I want to say the BKB, but if you look at his quick buy once again, like he's just itemizing in the hope that his team will tank the spells in the future. Because like right now, I guess how he's playing, everyone was like, why is it buying BKB? But I guess if he starts playing with his team and he's able to play defensive away from the slam,
Dire's
away
middle
from the
tower
global,
is under
then
attack.
sure, having more damage is going to be very key. But right now with his playstyle, a BKB would be pretty good.
Is this a situation like Synderen has mentioned where, you know, a core starts needing too many things?
Yeah. No, exactly. That's, I guess, playing into
Dire's
the PL right
middle
now.
tower
Like, he's already got the
has
Abyssal, about to complete Butterfly. Like, on your slot, you want to have an MKB, you want to have a
Yes.
BKB, you probably want a Butterfly of yourself. Like, you need so many items.
They're closing in on over here. Yeah. A nice clean pick off here coming out from PSG.LGD. They don't feel
Dire's
very
top
good about
tower
that.
has fallen.
But Hector is backing out of the base now because it seems like he is attracting their attention.
Yeah, Beastcoast just kind of poking and prodding, you know, emulating that first game. It was around about the 30-minute mark as well. They were playing heavily into PSG's side. You know, they'd take a fight one side, they'd start split pushing the other.
Look how fast
It's so annoying.
this
Why?
dragon. Oh, Lord.
But like, luckily, as each game progresses from yesterday to today, like the impact of the helm is going a little bit worse and worse, right? Like maybe in pubs it's probably still very, very strong, but at least we're seeing in competitive games, teams are reacting to it a little bit better. You know, maybe showing that it's maybe not, you know, hardcore broken, but still broken, you know?
I like them.
Patch
Look
soon.
at the way. Look at the way both of these teams are playing. They both have smokes going, but they're both circling around their cores. Chris Luck breaking the smoke, the jump forward immediately over on it, plus the Echo Slam, he's gone. There's no Slug for this fight. This egg is not looking like it's going to survive at all either, although it's a tear very low. They do manage to get the kill on Schofield.
Radiant's bottom barracks
This
are under
dragon is now
attack.
chasing after Stinger. He's just gonna try to fight the PL.
Really nice positioning from Beastcoast. Like, they trade their two supports, but they get that kill on the Slark. And yeah, once again, when you appear, like, the Shaker is such a cool concept against Slark, against Puck, because you need to either have insane reactions, or you're just going to get comboed down, because you are heroes that rely on Dark Shift or your Phase Shift.
Okay, we do have the teleport coming out, Hector, and
Dire's
the Aegis
middle
is
tower
gone.
is under attack.
He's gonna try to fight through here. The silence, though, it's not looking good. And is he gonna be? Oh, he's gonna try to dodge. Is he gonna be able to do it? No, they'll be able to chase down. I was wondering if he tried to do a cheeky play where he takes an illusion sort of thing, but not the case. And nice kill.
Again, you know, I'm not Kyle, I'm not from the Americas, but if it was, he'd probably be saying about how this is, you know, some Arteezy farm pattern right now, because, you know, you have the Aegis, you're in the enemy ancients, you die. It sounds pretty classic, but alas, yeah. So, yeah, I guess PSG just capitalizing on the timing of the Aegis. One of the best things in DOTA. It's pretty much non-existent in pubs, but, you know, it can be what you need to come back into a game.
They've been very smart. They've been trailing Ektor using the Wolves and also using the Nyx Assassin, so they can keep tabs on him. If you look, he's been following him for quite a while using both the Wolves and that.
And then you
so
have
then
the
the puck just goes right on in.
Exactly.
Jens here. And how do you, he's a powerful man, but not powerful enough when you got this many big baddies chasing you.
Yeah, and that's why PL, you see, he is looking to buy the BKB.
Oops, that's on mine.
I promised the Aegis guys, I promise.
Oh, this is not looking good for Schofield. It's looking real nice for Ame, who gets himself a kill. And it looks like they're going to perhaps try to find a little bit more here.
Yeah, they're ramping it up.
Bottom lane, Zhao. The silence off, plus the Dream Coil. Well, snap, he's got the Aeon disc though. They should be able to run to safety back into the base.
Yeah, that's good. The way that PSG, they found the PL kill, but then they sweep across the map and then just start trying to find more and more. And you see from the positioning of Beastcoast, like they're now pretty much locked into their base, and it just allows PSG to start building a lead.
Radiant structures
Once
are
PL's alive, you'd like to see him, connect with his team and make that play, but if you get coiled without the BKB, you can easily get 100 to 0. So they have to respect that.
Radiant's
without the Aegis
top
advantage
tower
that we just mentioned, crossing the river and making these plays isn't going to be as easy. And at any minute against PSG's lineup, they can just bomb it down a lane. So if you do make a misplay and you die on the PL or you don't have buyback, you're going to lose racks. That is the insane value of the Lycan. And he is, top net worth on his team with auras galore.
Good old aura Dota. I predict to you this is going to be the patch of auras. It's going to be the patch of lines. I think you were casting it the other day when I mentioned that. Before it was all circle Dota. This time I think it's the heroes that have lines.
The thing is though, right? Like if you tweak the item a little bit, like this Helm of the Overlord, it's going to completely change the idea of what the patch is. Like when you click on an item and it fills the entire screen, you know it's probably giving a little bit too much, right? Like if you hover on AC, for example,
Skywrath made his ads would like to talk to you.
Balanced item, not so balanced. Balanced item, not so balanced item. You see, like again, I'm not an expert here, but I think that's probably a good indicator.
You're literally an expert. You're literally sitting in the
you got me.
Here.
I was just testing you. But I think that's a pretty good example of if an item's good or bad is this pure size of the information.
So what do you say to Skywrath Mage's ads then?
If I could remember the voice line, I'd repeat it right now.
Because that is quite long. But there we go. We have a dragon slain.
Oh wait, I just realized, JJ, do we not have the stats of like Helm of the Overlord things killed? Do we have that? I'm sure we do, right?
It's going to take him a moment to respond.
No, that's fine.
Negative.
Okay, that's unfortunate. Well, we could find out what in the future. We'll find out what best team is able to cope with it. Look at how majestic it looks.
I'd say SG was the best team to cope with it.
That is true. They did really well.
The Zeus strat the other day.
Radiant's middle tower
but
is
yeah,
under
look
attack.
at this. It's a big tanky Thunderhide here. Push back the pups.
It just doesn't even care about the solar bind. It's like, yeah, sorry, mate. See ya.
It's a glowy dinosaur now. It's fine. It's all good. We're seeing some play though towards the Roach Pit here.
Hold on a second. Neutral items. They're called neutral items. Why can't the neutrals use them?
These are mysteries that
Why
I have
not make the zoo meta more zoo meta?
Oh my god, no. Oh no. Then we just have like...
There's so many neutrals,
That's like
right?
another hero then at that point. If you've already taken over one, you've given it all of its bonus stuff. And then you follow up Chris Luck, top lane, trying to make a play here over onto Slark. Does have to be careful, because just like that, they have the backup though with the fissure. So looking for this opening, goes in, gets the hit, they get a nice recoil off as well, trying to buy just a bit more time, but it's not going to be enough. They'll end up losing E. Shao 8 hiding in the tree line, Whisper trying to find him. It is nighttime. He does have bad eyesight, this old man with a flashlight.
Doesn't have a TP on Zhao, so
Radiant
he's going to be locked up in here for the next 10 seconds.
Did you have to go home though?
Exactly.
The circus is coming to town.
And this is what I mentioned earlier. When PSG were initially playing around this Helm, they were playing very, locked in into one area. But now they're playing the map a lot more. They're utilizing the pop the slot, and that is now breaking down Beastcoast's ability to find these easier kills.
Has fallen.
It's ludicrous. Yes, correct.
I love that we're using cheek sticks on creeps now. Like, that is the speed of Dota. That seems a bit...
Oh, wait. We've been looking at this all wrong. You need to buy your own Helm to take over their Helm to win the game. the battle of, you know, it's like Chen v Edge, but now it's just you have to have a 6k gold to fight their 6k gold.
I can't wait for you to start using this new pumps and everybody's going to be very upset with you.
But also in theory it doesn't work because the Lycan just takes over the thing, starts his cooldown timer. By the time that you take it, he has it back up. So in logic, it's probably not going to work out. Meanwhile, Beastcoast, they get the Aegis, they get that advantage, which enabled them to cross the river early on, take that tier 3 into
There is one thing this Thunderhide fears, and it is that, man.
But this is kind of like PSG were playing like a very defensive game now where they were trying to utilize the Lycan. But when it's like 39 minutes like this, it's very easy for Beastcoast to take other objectives on the map, be it Roshan. And now they have the Aegis. There's nothing they're afraid of because they can just push out this bot lane where Lycan was situated, get into that aggressive triangle, start skipping waves, and then it's going to make PSG feel uncomfortable because they have to make play like into the tankiness of what Beastcoast is now.
And they do end up popping the Aeon Disc over on Chris Luck, so it is going to force him to retreat. And they do have that information. They realize that Chris Luck not nearby currently, so if they try to take fight like it looks like they're trying to do here, trying to get the jump over into Stinger. They do manage to get that Dream Coil off on the side. They're separated quite a bit. Hector running away. He's going to try to rejoin. There it is. There's that Global Silence, followed with a nice fissure. Be able to get the kill on E. Chris Luck looking for more. They've already used the nullifiers, hoping he can maybe get his hands over onto Faith BN, but of course Ame is that Wolffish off to the side. Looks like they're just going to go bottom because they found the message. Oh wait, they've got a Hex. Can they get enough damage? Can they keep their sights on him? No, they go the other way with the fissure. Blinks forward. Looks like Zhao 8 is going to be fine. Stinger, though, is getting munched upon here. That is the Wolffish, as we talked about. The legendary Wolffish, they have protection, they do, they have some dust. They've got the sides, they've got the Echoes left, they've got the lockdown, and even the mighty Wolffish of legend cannot survive that sort of lockdown.
Yeah, now PSG, they're just falling victim to how hard it is for them to take a fight, right? Like when you think about the pure 5-on-5, if they want to take a fight, it needs to be a coil into an egg with Nyx kind of poking them, like, and maybe taking the shaker out of the fire of the coil, and then you get that fight on top. But we're probably going to see maybe a highlight in a bit, but like the fact that the start of the fight, you got a perfect coil on the shake on the back, but there's such a big disconnect where the Phoenix had the egg defensively from the PL, the Slug and the Lycan were situated over there. So during the entire Axe coil, you don't have any damage, and then they're scared to commit because of that slam factor. So yeah, PSG just not having the cleanest of team fights, and then Beastcoast able to just prolong it, and then their heroes are really good at taking these longer fights with Void Spirit with PL, and then the patience of Earthshaker.
Tower is under attack.
Well, it feels like, hold that thought. Schofield waiting in position. They've got the Hex as well. They're going to try to push it forward again. Zhao looking for this opening. They get the draw over onto E. There's no more Nyx Assassin, and Zhao 8 is now surrounded. Hector says, I'll leave that to the rest of my team. Oh, okay, you're going to join me. That's absolutely fine. Fissure, and that's a dead pop. Buyback now from E. Wants to get back in as Hector already popped that BKB, so has an Aegis on him, and they're just beating down these buildings.
Radiant's top tower is under
and of course
attack.
They've got bottom creep wave already pushed in as well, so they're not going to have any issues with backdoor
Dire's
in the
middle
upcoming
barracks
seconds.
are under attack.
And this should just be at least the range racks, maybe they
Radiant's
stay.
top
I'm guessing
tower
like
is
with pop
under
no
attack.
buyback, they shouldn't respect it at all. They should just go straight for the, or even maybe even top as well.
He's already silenced. You can't get a spike
Dire's
characters off when you don't have the words to do it. The back line, though, it does look like they're trying to get the jump
Dire's
over to Chris.
middle
Like,
barracks
very,
are
very
under
greedy,
attack.
diving him pretty hard. Now the egg and the sunray won't be able to clean him up along with Ame. That wolf is chasing up to
Dire's
Schofield,
bottom
running
tower
for his
has
life here. The
fallen.
silence is in place here, but Stinger has the Glimmer Cape. Do they have the vision? Hector turns back around. Immediately, he's already been hit with that nullifier. Ame running away. The buyback now from Chris Luck. He wants to be a part of this.
Yeah, Slark's just doing no damage. You see in that fight, he gets the
Dire's
Lycan axe on top of
barracks
him. He
are under
runs in
attack.
all jolly, and yeah, unfortunately for PSG.
Oh, Whisper. Chris Luck looking to see if he can catch a little fish on the end of his hook here, but
And a really nice buyback from the Void Spirit. The
Dire's
fact that
bottom
Zhao hasn't even
barracks
used his buyback right because he doesn't have it, they just identified he would have bought back as the slot committed, therefore he must not have it, and that's why you see the Void Spirit then buybacking after, taking the bot racks, enabling K1 also to very comfortably then go for top. This will be Mega.
Hex up. This should be a very dead Zincu. As
Dire's
Beastcoast
top
just starts
barracks are
ripping
under
apart
attack.
all the buildings,
Dire's top barracks has
destroying the
fallen.
home of PSG.LGD.
Dire's top barracks has fallen. The
And getting
Radiant
themselves
now
mega
have
creeps.
mega creeps.
Beastcoast playing really well, playing into like the zoo idea, just making sure that they defended the towers early on, playing around their big spells, and make sure they always, like against Slark, you can never play in, you can't play the map too quickly. You can't run across the map, play some
Radiant
more, try and fight,
are
like you need to hold a single area and basically claim it as your own. and they basically decided the entire game that their own side of the map was their best friend, and it's enabled them to have these good fights.
This Slark can't even kill the Keeper of the Light.
He tried.
It's the silence, the hex, everything.
So many stuns,
Oh,
yeah.
a little bit of a zip-zap coming out here from Zhao. He's going to be able to finally take down Whisper. He's also into position, but this is not looking good for him. He is going to eventually die here. Or maybe they're just not going to care. Maybe they've got more ideas here for them. If they get there fast enough, they are going to buy back with the Slark.
Yeah, Beastcoast won't be, you know, they're not gonna be unhappy with that. That's not any throws occurring. Yeah, I feel like this Slark on Army, it's one of those things where they banned against Beastcoast in game 1, and then they picked it very, very quickly into game 2. It's very much a respect thing, and also we got to see a wolf jump. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so we've not really just seen the Slark have a strong entry to the game, and early on, he found a couple kills, but never really converted those couple kills into that extra item needed to really have the presence you want from your carry. They are finding a couple pickups here.
They have to make this count too, because they did buy back over on Ame.
Yep.
They do not want this to end in a 2-0 over here on PSG.LGD.
And this is kind of like their best bet now is what we're kind of seeing, right? It's we got Mega Creep, but we need to try and get a kill. They kill the Cuddle. Then they instantly try and kill the Shaker as well. And maybe if you then somehow find a third kill, that's where you could be, you know, start thinking about, oh, okay, we might be able to contest next Roshan if they're, you know, still on a death timer. But realistically, Beastcoast, they're not going to allow that. They're going to hug each other as 3. They're going to wait for their respawns, accept that they got a little bit relaxed, and then play for that next Roshan. Because if K1's in the fight, PSG are running away. Like, they need, like, the best fight they can take right now is maybe like a double egg from Phoenix, as he has the refresher, with like an axe coil on the puck, and then just, you know, play from there.
They do have a refresher orb online for this Phoenix, though, so
yeah,
they do have an advantage as long as they cannot hit the egg, though. That is the big problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, you have this refresher from Phoenix, which is amazing, but you don't have that clean team fight to enable it, right? Like, you have the puck coil, you have maybe a Nyx assassin with his impale, but, like, you don't have that +1. Like, if you survive the coil, you run away. Like, they are missing a little bit of that thing in their draft, which is now at 45 minutes, it is becoming a problem. You know, before that, minute 20, minute 30, it's not a problem for PSG because they can just run over their opponents because items aren't really there. But now we're getting to the later portion of the game. Of course, PSG are falling victim to not having that extra element within their draft.
Oh, this is nice too. They have the shard online now for the Keeper of the Light, which means they're going to be able to just continuously push through all of these lanes and be able to bring people right back into them.
It's only a 4k lead for Beastcoast. So in fairness, PSG, they have done a really good job at just keeping themselves, you know, needs level, but we're talking about a mega creep situation here. This is Beastcoast, they need to kind of run up into the high ground and just, you know, die a couple of times, have the buybacks go against them, and then maybe, but right now with how they're playing...
There's Sector in their base, by the way.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. This is, wait, oh my bad, yes, it's dire side.
You know, I saw you had a very beautiful base. I thought that
it's a casual wolf.
They do get the break off though, and they are a bit split off over this back end. Oh, but the Hex, Schofield, is he going to be able to survive long enough? Krislov getting back in here. They use the BKB over on Hector, and they're forced to just run away over here on the side of the wall. Looks like they're going to try to retreat. But the Dega gets the kill on K1. Very necessary. Zhao 8, they get another refresh here, trying to keep tabs. Keep coming forward. Have the Sunray will end up. They throw out the fissure.
Dude, that was beautiful. Like, he refreshed just to get the second dive with the extra range, and then get the, oh, that was beautiful.
Radiant are
I was
scanning.
just saying, like, for Beastcoast, the only thing that can go wrong for them is if they just kind of awkwardly walk up high ground and die, and then they did it.
There he is again. The Hex buys a little bit more time. Stingers here, but there's really not too much that they can do against Ame when it's just the two of them. In fact, Ame's feeling like he might go for a little bit of a swim, and the Radiant base is away. And they tried to buy the one. Cannot.
You've got, like, Roshan's respawning in like 40 seconds. And if you look at that top bar, Beastcoast, they're not respawning in 40 seconds.
No, they are
And this all started because look at where K1 is. Look at the meme map. Everyone else on Beastcoast They're nowhere near. And I mean, Lycan beautifully stopped Schofield from instantly getting the Echo Slam into the middle of that
That
fight.
goes much differently if they get that Echo
Exactly,
Slam off.
but he had to blink back, right? He blinked away from the fight, and then now they're going to be kicking themselves. They're smart, at least they're having fun, that's the key thing. But right there, that is a position where they are...
You know, that's what
exactly.
You go, oh, the sorry sign. You know that you've been a bit too cheeky.
The coach has already gone to, like, you know, they've run 48 minutes, higher ground, right?
Well, you know, if ROTK was the coach, not Mariano, he'd be standing, just give him a whack upside the head, right?
Yeah, because, like, that's the... Like, now Roshan's up, instantly scout it out. But
good stuff on him, too.
PL is alive now, so... If PSG go instantly, you can force the awkward, like, you know, double buyback on Silencer Coddle.
They have to respect Schofield, though.
100%, but they do have the ward set up. Like, if you look at the minimap right now, dire wards everywhere. There are no radiant wards around Roshan. So you see...
It's going to go down too fast.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
And this all stems from one single PL death, which could be a second if he just stuns blindly. Into maybe a pounce.
Oh, the global silence at just the right moment here. Sunray BKB comes out. Is stunned though. It's going to buy a bit more time here for PSG. We need to get things done. Leech going to end up snapping. This is not looking good for F. Not going to get out of here in time. He still manages to topple away. He's still alive somehow as the men drop out over here. Oh, the Echo Slam. The best Schofield. He does pay for it with his life. They only take that E and they still alive. Fabian over on the corner. He's trying, but this is not looking good for him. He is the next one to fall. Can they get anyone else? Oh, they found Ame. He doesn't have any mana left. They're just chasing him down. Here's Fishy. A little bit more mana here for Chrislock. They tried to block off that exit route. They need the vision. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get over the fast stuff. He is just too fast. But they don't have Faith Bien for another 70-something seconds. And they don't have the Nyx Assassin unless he wants to buy back.
Oh, that was so close.
Okay, buy back now.
Still looking though. Okay, but you have Lycan for, you know, for the 60 seconds. Slark does have Aegis, but now Beastcoast they have to choose. Do they want to try and, you know, poke their heads up again? But Shaker doesn't have buyback this time. You know, the buyback game, that is the most critical thing right now. PL has buyback, and that's it, I believe, right? Oh, and then Keeper Light has it as well, but only Puck has it for PSG. So this is going to be a very close game of the buyback situation. Because now we've seen that both teams, they can take the fight, whoever gets the jump.
And indeed, because they found themselves a nice tidy little pick-off. He tried to be cheeky here, trying to get some information as a Nyx Assassin. Will.
And he doesn't have it now yet.
He is down now. Faith Bien's still down. Still have the Aegis online, though, for the Slark.
At the start of that fight, it was like, oh, it's PL dead, oh! And like, if he just connected the pounds into, oh, I don't know.
I like the little,
I mean, both of these games are so close.
May waiting patiently, gets the break off over PL, but he does have the BKB, the jump forward over on the side, tries to take out Zhao 8, trying to make sure he cannot hold anyone in place. They have the silence. Can they burst down the puck? Yes, they can. Ame, though, is chasing after Stinger now. He's going to be able to force away. Chrislock turning back in, and they buy back on the puck. Blinding light coming through. They've got the egg. They're trying to force them off of their front here. As K1 running here does have that nullifier. Is going to try to just man fight. Beautiful stun. Coming over Scope. Yeah, again. Egg will come out. So it buys them just a bit more time here. Faith Bien.
But the Angel, look at him.
Radiant victory.
They were doing a great job. You know what? They nearly did it, PSG. There were moments.